Um, Let me start by saying this. When I put this out, a lot of people, and I didn't even see the comments in there. PSG? Why would you do a PSG show? What? Who? The disrespect, what they want to call it that, the kind of abuse, the disregard that PSG receive on a daily basis. Sometimes it's warranted, sometimes it's not. So I think even before we even get into specifics, say Neymar, Mbappe, and so forth, I want to address the LSG claims, the abuse claims, the insult claims, and how PSG is perceived outside of France and outside of non-PSG fans. So we have our big man PSG INT here. We've got Ahmad that you obviously know from the Hangouts, and a return to a guy who used to be a Hangouts regular, Mr. Vass, who will be helping me over the next hour or so as we dissect Paris Saint-Germain PSG, the team that everybody loves to hate, man. So it should be fun. It should be interesting. We're going to try and be real. So I'll be looking at the live chat to see whatever any of your crazy stuff that you guys are saying. Remember, I'll try and answer a few of your comments, but any super chat sent, I will answer those immediately. I will answer those pronto. So I'll always try and keep ahead of those super chats. Like the vid, subscribe, and do all of that lovely stuff, man. So without further ado, I think this is where I want to start, because I want to start with even what I began by saying, and it's called perception. And I think the only best place to start is with Uber Eats. So I want to start there. So I'm gonna come first to Ahmad. Actually, no, I want to come first with the PSG INT with this man. Uber Eats. A lot of people say that they can't accept, respect, or even take PSG seriously because they play in the Liga, aka Uber Eats, and because they're so good and they're so overpowered, they cannot respect what they do in that league, and people will only respect PSG by what they do in the Champions League. So my question to obviously you PSG guys out there is, do you think that criticism is fair? Do you think that in 2021, the French league should actually be much more respected? Because for a long time, we called it Uber Eats, we destroyed it. But for this season, I did say I will stop calling them Uber Eats based on how well they did in the Champions League. Because again, Lyon got to the semis, PSG got to the final. So for that reason, I said for at least for one season, I think it's only fair that we don't call them Uber Eats. So PSG INC, do you think the Uber Eats tag and the disregard for what PSG do in the French league is warranted, or do you think it's unfair?
Hi. Yeah, some of it is warranted. I get some of the comments because the quality of League One is not on the same quality-wise as the Premier League. But you can't disregard the whole league and a team's performance, because it's still hard in a sense to win the League One, even if the quality is much less.
But okay, PSG. I say, come on. Let's just February. PSG are much better than everyone else in the French league. Do you accept that their team is way better than everyone else?
Yes.
So how can it then be hard to win Ligue 1 if your team is so much better than the rest of the league?
No, but then you have to look how we win the league. If we put like a team like Arsenal in League One, I don't think they would win League One as comfortably as we do. We make League One easy because we are that good. So other teams need to put themselves in League One instead, and they will see how they will do in League One instead of us.
So overall, do you feel that, let's say, if Mbappe scores an amazing goal against Marseille, or Neymar does an amazing trick against Lille, that the rest of the footballing world should respect it and accept when they've made a good performance? Or do you see where people like me come from and say, no, we will only respect you by what you do in the Champions League? Do you still think that PSG playing well in the French League should still be respected by others?
Yeah, of course it should still be respected. Like, I get it against the small teams, but it's the same for all the leagues. When City beat Burnley 5-0, they get it. It's a small team against a big team, but if Mbappe or Neymar does anything incredible against a big team in League One like Lyon, as say they reached the semi-final, it should be respected the same way Harry Kane scores against Liverpool. It should be counted the same.
Amar, talk to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be more respected. Like the disrespect PSG gets. As soon I comment on this channel, everybody comments writes Uber Eats. But you need to respect it. This is a professional league. They play professional football. It's still hard to win a game. If Mbappe have a good performance, it should be respected. And we have seen throughout the years, especially City, losing to teams like Monaco, losing to teams like Lyon. So why, when we comfortably beat them, it's disregarded?
Okay, no, but here's the argument. Again, you look at that guy in your AVI who I call the best midfielder of the last 10 years. Yes, yes, he is.
No, no, no,
Um,
don't mention his first
okay,
name.
okay, I won't. Okay, no, but people's argument is Michael Neymar, Mbappe, Di Maria, Verratti. Which other team in the French league? You see, Liverpool. Okay, Salah, Mane. Okay, you've got De Bruyne, Sterling. Okay, you've got what's it called? Pogba. Apart from PSG, what other French teams would you say have world class players or players who are top five in their position? If you take Mbappe, you take Di Maria, you take Verratti, you take Neymar, these guys are arguably top five, top three in their position. What other French team can you say has that? A top three, top four, five player in a position in the other teams?
Now, I agree with you in the sense that our league is far worse than the other leagues and the quality isn't the same. My point is that when a player has a good performance, especially against teams like Marseille or Lyon, it shouldn't be disregarded just because it's the Ligue 1. And if you think about this season, especially I've been saying this a long time, our injuries has been a crisis this season, and that's mainly the reason we're third in the league. So if we win this season, I think it's pretty impressive regarding how many injuries we'd have. And throughout the years, teams like Lyon, who has had a very good squad, has just been so inconsistent, losing against shit teams. But this season they've been pretty consistent. So, but of course we should win the league. It's a no-brainer. If we don't win the league, it's a big shock. It's a disgrace for the club, as what happened when Emery was in charge, when
Oh no,
Monaco won
we'll
the league.
get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
get there.
So, but I agree with you. We should win the league. It would be a disgrace if we don't win the league.
Vas,
So,
perceptions towards Uber Eats and PSG.
so I think like on one of the hangouts that I was on a long time ago, we actually spoke about is the league really the best way to gauge how good a team is, right? And I was one of the proponents always who said no, because the league is really a means, and this is why I have to give props to the guy who spoke before me. Like it's the keyword is consistency, right? The league, whoever wins the league is the team that's the most consistent against the weaker opposition. You know, for example, like Lyon. Lyon are a quality team. They showed that in the Champions League against, Juventus, against the likes of Man City last season. They were mentioned, but the thing is, as much quality as Liga teams might have, none of them really have had the consistency to challenge PSG season in, season out. So PSG just have, that little bit more momentum compared to the other teams, and that's why they're able to win all these games. But the thing is, like, the games aren't necessarily that easy to win. For example, Marseille away, that wasn't like a complete like washout. So the games can be challenging for PSG, but the only difference is that they're just a little bit more consistent than the other teams. Yeah, and I think the reason for that is because like the French league typically produces a lot of young talent. And like it's very
But
yeah,
always gets bought. They always get bought. As soon as you have
exactly,
someone, they always get
exactly.
bought.
Yep. It's hard to make young players have that maturity to keep churning out results week in, week out, but they can turn up in a one-off Champions League game, and you see that once in a while from Monaco or Lyon. So yeah, I think that's why there's a bad perception. But it's not that the league doesn't have quality in it.
All right.
And can I comment one more thing? Like, we can't expect also that teams in Liga will challenge with PSG because the amount of money the league gets. A league like Premier League, like all the teams get almost more than PSG even in Liga.
Oh yeah.
So we
Like,
need
like I
to,
think
and
if you finish 16th or 17th in the Premier League, you get more than most guys who finish top four
yeah,
in the
and
leagues.
the league is in a crisis right now as well.
Oh
We don't have
yeah.
TV money, so it should be regarded as well.
Okay. So just say before we move to the next, remember guys, like the vid, subscribe, like the vid, and for any French people who may be tuning into this, well, I'm sorry, it's in English. All I know is bonjour mes amis, comme ci, comme ça, comme ci, comme ça. You know, j'habite à Londres. You know, that's what I know in French, man. Thank you, man. So actually, Paris was actually pretty cool. I stayed in a hotel in Disneyland Paris. I didn't actually go to Disneyland because they charged me like €100 to go and see freaking Mickey Mouse. So I just went to the outside place. But Paris was alright. Let's now move to the big boy himself, Neymar. Neymar Jr. You see, let me just backtrack before I give this over to PSG. Look, I fully supported Neymar moving to PSG. People, and it's weird, I think especially Barca fans wanted him to fail. Because Barca fans, so I'm like, wait a minute, you know this guy's an alpha, this guy's an next big thing, you know how good he is, but you wanted him to clean Messi's shoes and you wanted him to pretty much become under Lionel Messi. That, I didn't really understand that. I was like, no, he ain't a sidekick, he's not a side chick, he's a main man, he's a main dude. So he should be allowed to shine off his own back. He should be allowed to stand off on his own 2 feet. So I fully, because it was a big boy move, it was a massive move, and I get what he wants to try and do. Because if Neymar completes what he's trying to do, I think that is a massive, huge move, a key move. But here we are. The seal has yet to be received, and people have different concepts of Neymar. Sister's birthday, missing key games, injuries, prima donna, his attitude, arrogance. There was even a time where PSG fans sort of fell out of love with him. It has been a eventful few years for Neymar. So let me just first start with this. So far, as a PSG fan, has this move been a success? Or does the success of this move hinge on that CL? Or would you say, based on the entertainment he's brought, the football he's brought, the kinds of things he has done as an individual, or even taking PSG to a final, it has already been a success? Or based on how much that was spent for Homeboy, this will only be a success if he wins the CL, PSG INT.
Of course, Neymar has been a success because
Whoa. What do you mean by of course? I don't see a Champions League. How is it a success without the Champions League?
the first 2 seasons, you can't blame it on Neymar getting injured ahead of the 2 most important games in the Champions League. So I don't count the 2 first years. And when last year he showed us when he's not injured, he took us to the final on his own shoulders. And this year you will see the same, that Neymar will take us further in the Champions League. So I know there isn't Champions League trophy yet, but with him soon getting a new contract until 2026, he will most definitely get a Champions League medal at PSG.
So you feel that it has already been a success without the Champions League? But my thing, why was he brought here though? Let me answer. Why was he brought to PSG in the first place?
For the Champions League, because that was our stumbling block. It was.
So my thing is that how can it be a success if you have not yet won the Champions League? If the final is cool, but that isn't the objective. Did you bring him just to take you to the final? If you bought him just to take you to the final, okay, cool. But you bought him because you said, no, this is the guy that will help us win the Champions League. Similar for Cristiano and Juventus. So how can you say that it has still been a success if he hasn't completed the objective?
Yeah, because I know PSG will win this Champions League with Neymar in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Maybe not right now. It's not a 100% success, but I know it's coming. It's coming home, the Champions League.
Okay, that's you seem pretty sure. Ahmad, man, talk to me. Has this been a success? And do you share PSG INC's belief that he will bring it back, whether it's this year, next year, or the next few years? Do you share his belief that yes, it is going to come?
For me, it's 100% success. And okay, hey Chish, I'm not a trophy merchant when I want to. I'm not a trophy merchant when I want to see
Do
if
you
a
know what
player was a
100%
success or
means?
not.
100% success.
Okay, not 100%, but look at this way. Neymar came to PSG, and all his performances are very good. Not like other people going for 110 million to Real Madrid and absolutely flopping.
Hey,
So
relax.
in that sense, he's a success. And I don't really want to bring this up, but for the club, is a huge success. The amount of fans Neymar has brought to PSG, the amount of exposure, the brand deals is so important for us. Like one half a year ago, we came self-sustainable, not relying on the Qatari money, and that really is because of Neymar and Mbappe, because we get those brand deals, the exposures. So in that sense, he's a success, and he hasn't flopped. He's playing really good, and he shows why he's one of the best players in the world. I really can't judge Neymar because he hasn't won a Champions League, even though he was in the final, and he has 4 more years. Did we say that Ronaldo wasn't a success at Real Madrid when he joined? Because it took him like 5 years to win the Champions
Oh
League
no
with
no
Real
no no
Madrid.
no! If Cristiano never won the Champions League at Real Madrid, 1,000% it would be a failure. No matter how many goals he scored, if he had never led Real Madrid to a Champions League, 100% every Madrid fan would say you failed for sure. You know, and my thing is that you spent a lot. This wasn't any small change. You put the house, money, everything on this dude, and if you spend that much, you have to try and get that CL. It has to, surely.
I get your point. We bought him because of this Champions League and maybe the exposure. But as a player, what he has done for PSG, I wouldn't call him a failure. Just because how good he is, how good he plays, and you can call the transfer if he doesn't win the Champions League, the transfer might have been a failure. But as a player, he hasn't failed at PSG. He has been a success at PSG.
That's a very roundabout way that I disagree with, but fair enough. Vas, talk to me.
So I mean, I'm seeing some people in the chat have noticed it, dude. So I'm definitely a Neymar fan more than a PSG fan. Dude. So let's like I need to get that out there, dude. I'll say I'm a stan. I'm not a fan. I'm a stan of the truth, as you used to call him back when I was.
Yeah, long time ago. I don't call him the truth anymore. But continue.
Yeah. So like I'm still speaking from a Neymar perspective more so than a PSG perspective. You know, like I think it is a failure. I agree with you. I think it's a failure because like he definitely wanted to win the Champions League. And, you know, initially from that perspective, when he joined PSG, it made sense. Okay, a club that's never won the Champions League that wants to sit on the table with the legendary teams of Europe, and a guy who wants to also step out of Messi's shadow and like forge his own legacy in a different league, in a new context, and leading his own team. So it made sense. And the thing is, like, I don't fully agree that it's an eventuality that PSG is going to win the Champions League with Neymar, right? Like, they might win the Champions League.
Okay, why do you? Because it seems that both Ahmad and PSG INC say that it is an eventuality, that they just believe that it is inevitable that Neymar will lead them to the promised land. So why do you disagree that the so-called truth, Mr. Emerson, wouldn't be able to lead them all the way, because he led them to the final? So why wouldn't he be able to lead them all the way through?
So the thing is with so there's many reasons why I think PSG is going to win the Champions League eventually, 100%, but I don't think it's a guarantee with Neymar still in the team. You know, that's my standpoint on it, dude, because last season was like a really, really good chance for him to do it. And of course they missed a lot of chances. like despite Tuchel like setting the team up right to beat Bayern and everything. So again, you can argue it's an individual mistakes thing. But the thing is, right, reason number one is the way the money has been spent. Like you can criticize a team for not producing the results, despite spending money. But the thing is that money also has to be spent in the right way. If you compare Man City's sporting project with PSG's, Man City are the team that spent money in a much better way. They like completed their squad top to bottom in many different positions. They have a more complete team. They have better depth in multiple positions, whereas PSG, they spent a ton of money, close to 400 million, upwards of 400 million on the likes of Neymar and Mbappe, two superstars, but there's other areas in the pitch that are lacking, and last season they had a run, mostly filled with single leg knockout ties against weaker opposition. Like of the two teams that reached the final, you probably would say Bayern had a slightly more difficult route, or at least they faced more reputable teams, and the thing is like, it's not really always going to work out that way. We're going back to two-legged ties now, which makes it more difficult in some ways. And PSG might also meet more difficult opposition, more complete teams. Like, for example, an Atletico Madrid over two legs in the semifinal, which would have happened last year had they not gone
because we're going to talk about the run. We're going to talk about that run.
So, and the thing is, like, the last reason is the clock is ticking. Like, somebody made the comparison between Cristiano and Neymar. The thing is, like, I feel like Madrid, not only man for man, had a better team, but the thing is, like, and a more complete team, but also Ronaldo came to Madrid at a much younger age than the age that Neymar joined PSG, I believe. I believe at least he was, like, a couple of years younger. Like, not that much, but, like, maybe, like, 1 or 2 years younger, and he had a little bit more time. And the thing is, he also adapted his game differently. He couldn't play the same way. He couldn't, like, dribble. He couldn't, like, cut in from the wide positions. He transformed his game and became more of a goal scorer, whereas Neymar, because PSG is, like, not really a complete team, has to do a lot more in terms of creating, running, like, passing, all that kind of stuff. So I don't think he's going to age as well, and, he's getting close to that big number.
Wait. Who's not going to age as well? Who?
Neymar, compared to Cristiano. And plus, he's more injury prone, which makes it worse, so yeah.
Can I respond?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm
quickly.
Go for it. Respond.
I agree with you in the sense that we don't have a complete squad because we lack in fullbacks and CDM and those areas. However, the signing of Neymar and Mbappe was massive to our club. We don't play in the Premier League, so we don't get the money from the league. But the amount of exposure we have got from these signings is massive for us. Like, if you look at last year's revenue, we got more than Man City, who has spent throughout their team and bought a more complete team. In the fact that we are a much bigger brand than them, we collect much more money than Man City out of football, and that I think was revolutionary for PSG. That we can move from the Qatari money, be more self-sustainable, and is better for the long term. So I think the signing of Neymar and Mbappe was massive to us. And wait, what did you say about Neymar, HH? I forgot. It was something I wanted to respond to.
Oh, no, I mean, well, no, I was just talking about whether the general thing was, has Neymar been a success?
I remember. Okay. So you said that he needs to win the Champions League to be a success.
1,000%.
Okay. So if in that case, we're talking about small situation, like minimum situations. So if just Mbappe could shoot correctly, you're telling me that he was a success at PSG. No, you can't say that. His performances has been very good in PSG, so of course he has been a success as a player.
No. You see, for me, bowling against Croissant FC or Eiffel Tower United and beating freaking Red Bull Leipzig without Timo Werner and Atalanta ain't enough. For me, I need something tangible. I need something that I can see with my hands. So I need it to be like, you know what? Half up. Here's my Champions League winner's
But HH, you have seen him play. You know how good he is at PSG.
I know how good he is. But Ahmad, again, this goes back to my initial thing. What do PSG want? They want to be they want the Champions League. They didn't. the sponsorship, brand recognition, fans and so forth, that is a byproduct that they knew. Initially, they knew that, yeah, we know we're going to get all extra stuff based on Neymar, the brand, but we know how good he is. And Neymar said that, I'm tired of being Messi's side chick. I want my own thing. Look at what happened to Barca. They got 8-2, but PSG in the final. So anybody that says that Neymar made a bad move, jokes on it, because Barca are in a worse position now than PSG are right now. And oh my gosh, in heaven, we're going to talk PSG, Barcelona. We're going to talk about Barcelona. But my thing is that, Ahmad, I need that CL. I need that CL because that CL is boom.
Yeah, but I agree.
This is
with
why I
you.
was brought here.
Yeah,
I
but
delivered why I was here.
yeah, that's his achievement. That's the goal he needs to reach. But to say he's a failure for me is crazy. Players like Griezmann, Dembele, Hazard, Coutinho, these are failures. These are failures. Not Neymar. Come on, man. You can't put him in the same bracket.
Easy, look, man. Hazard is going through. Okay, wait. Let me begin. So from your armchair critic, thanks for the dub. Hey Vas, reactivate your Twitter. Also, is there a way of Barcelona to concede less than 10 goals over 2 legs without paying UEFA? So I believe Vas's Twitter might be reactivated now. And in response to, is there a way for Barcelona to concede less than 10 goals? Why are people having such basement fees? We're going to talk about this PSG Barcelona game. PSG, and this will be a precursor before we go into the match in detail. If you make the dumbass mistake of underestimating Barcelona, you will be sorry. Because I think one of the most dangerous things about this game is Messi coming in as an underdog and underrated. This is the first time Barcelona coming in underrated. So I don't think this is going to be like an 8-10 thing because it's so different. The Barcelona Bayern game, it was like 60-40, maybe 55-45 in favor of Bayern. Right now, the way people are talking is like 60-40, dare I say 70-30 if PSG is fully fit. Oh my gosh, guys like Barca don't have a chance. They're struggling to beat freaking Granada and freaking Tapas Bar FC. So what the hell are they going to do with a full-strength PSG? But even if PSG are full strength and you make the mistake of underestimating him, bro, I've seen so many football games to say that is a bad move. That is a bad move. Okay, now let's just move to this other key one. Because guys, I told you, we're covering all bases. We're covering all bases here. Mbappe. Let me reiterate what I said before. Mbappe at 19 is better than Cristiano and Messi at 19. He surpassed them. I don't give a damn about any of your bum-ass highlights, your stupid highlights where they scored goals against sideshow bobs. Fact of the matter is that once Mbappe did what he did at the World Cup, he surpassed Cristiano and Messi in terms of international achievements and what he did as a teenager. So he's a far better teenager than they ever were. That's a fact. And I christened him the prodigy. I want you guys to sell me on something. I need you to sell me on something. I need you to sell me on why the prodigy should remain at PSG instead of going to Real Madrid. Now, let me tell you why it's going to be hard for you to sell me on that. So let me just give you the lay of the land. I need for the prodigy to sit on the rightful throne. He needs competition every single week. He needs to be competitive. He needs to suffer. He needs to sweat. And that's not happening in Liga. Second thing, the streets. The streets. For you French people out here, la rue or les rues. The streets are talking. And the streets call him a kick and run merchant. They call him a pace merchant. They call him kick and run. That's what the streets are saying. So the perception is that Mbappe has declined ever since his move to PSG. And guys, this is wrong for a narrative. And like easy, this is about my last thing, which is my narrative. So guys, I've got a narrative out there. I need Messi and Cristiano to get out of here. I need them out of here. And the only way that I can deal with their bum-ass fanboys is if Mbappe wins the Champions League. He already has the World Cup. If he wins the Champions League, those two international flops, they are completely done. But I want you guys to convince me that I can let go of those. I want you to convince me of my narrative. So PSG INT, convince me why the prodigy, aka Kylian Mbappe, should remain at PSG, and why? If he remains at PSG, he will become the player we know him to be, and he will win the CL.
All right. So with the same thing you said about Neymar and Messi, Neymar was always the sidekick. He was always the second best player at Barcelona. If Mbappe moves to Real Madrid, the only option he has, he will always be behind certain legends, especially Cristiano Ronaldo. But if he stays in PSG, signs a contract, wins the Champions League with PSG several times, with his boyhood club, he's from Paris, he's French. I think the legacy of that, maybe winning 3 Champions Leagues at PSG, 4 Champions Leagues, I don't know how many, if it's possible to do that, that's a bigger legacy than, for example, Ronaldo winning 5 at Real Madrid, who already have 13 Champions Leagues.
So, but why do you believe that PSG is the right club for Mbappe when many people have said that if he moves to Real Madrid, he'll be in a much competitive league in La Liga and he will then improve? And what say you to people who say Mbappe has declined and isn't as good as we think he is?
Mbappe hasn't declined. He's just trying out new stuff. That happens to every player around this age. They try to start dribble and see if they are good at that. But Mbappe needs just to stay calm, do his thing, what he's best at, running in behind. He's the best at the world at it. No one can stop him. Even Van Dijk, all the other best defenders can't stop Mbappe when he's on top. So he just needs to stay calm. He's still young. People need to realize that. He's younger than Rashford, and what has Rashford done at United? Played Europa League. Come on. So yeah, Mbappe is much bigger than all the other players he's compared to, and it's disrespectful to a World Cup winner, a 4th place in Ballon d'Or winner. To be compared to Rashford and Sancho and stuff.
No. That's just clowns. So you believe that Mbappe will be a Champions League winner if he remains with PSG?
Yes, and even if there's doubt about that, he can change that. He can score the important knockout goals. He can score in the final and make all these people that hate on him. Because if he wins the Champions League at PSG, the haters will eat much more shit than if he wins it at Real Madrid. So if he wants to shut up the haters the best way, he wins it with PSG.
So before I come to Ahmad, Zarar N, please retract that comment. Zarar N, please retract that comment. Show some respect to a prodigy. Ahmad, talk to me. Sell me on why Mbappe should remain at PSG.
Hey, this is such an easy question. Why would Mbappe go to an aging Real Madrid squad, and the only hope that this Real Madrid team will be great is Perez? But in PSG right now, he looks around. He has Neymar beside him. He has Verratti. He has Marquinhos. He looks at Real Madrid. Hazard, who's always in there, is fat. Vinicius Jr., who can't finish. Benzema, Modric, Cruz, all old players. Ramos will leave. Come on. It's clear to see that PSG is one of the teams with the best futures. And if he wants to become one of the best players in the world, I think the best chance of it with PSG. So for me, it's clear. And even our sporting director, Leonardo, said it. He told Mbappe that there isn't better options than PSG right now because we have one of the best squads and one of the brightest futures. So for me, if I needed to, I think it's a pretty easy decision for Mbappe to stay at PSG.
So what say you to people who say that he's declined and he's a kick and run pace merchant?
Jealous people, I would say. Like, I agree that the form has been a little bit dodgy this season, but you can't forget he's still one of the best goal scorers in Liga. What I would say is that, first of all, he hasn't declined in PSG. He won his World Cup when he played for PSG. He got 32 goals a season with PSG. So you can't say that he declined with PSG. What I would say is that the only problem with him this season has been that he tries too much. Sometimes he comes too deep and try to take over the Neymar role. And there isn't many players that can do that.
Because I don't want to go too much into the managers, which we'll go into separately. But my theory on that is, do you feel because he is Neymar sort of like a big brother to him, and they're very close, and he obviously wants to try and actually impress Neymar and everything, that maybe Neymar should say to him that, bro, this isn't what you want to do. Or so do you think it's more of an Mbappe thing to be like, nah, or should be much more of like a manager thing to be like, no, this is what you're good at, stick to it. This is what Neymar does. Only Neymar can do what he does. Who should be telling him that this is how you're supposed to operate when on the pitch?
Of course, the manager, but it's hard with these superstars to actually tell them what to do. But I agree with you. I think it's the case of he looking up to Neymar. But to call him a pace merchant is ridiculous. Like, if you watch Mbappe play, first of all, his dribble with pace is absolutely ridiculous. The spaces he creates is ridiculous, and his IQ is so underrated, knowing where to be, which positions. And I don't want to compare him to Rashford, but just look at Rashford. How many times does he make stupid mistakes, stupid
No,
decisions?
no.
These, no, but
Don't mention Rashford in the same
no, but
sentence.
I just want to
Please don't.
no, I just want to say that because if you watch Mbappe, the maturity he has for his age is ridiculous. The way he uses pace, to call it, there's a lot of pace merchants in this world. Adama Traore, is he as good as Mbappe? Nowhere close. But Mbappe is smart with how he uses his pace. So to call him a pace merchant are haters. Yeah, it's only Barcelona fans I've seen call him a pace merchant. So, so I understand.
I know because of them. Okay, yeah, Vaz, talk to me about Mbappe and the pace merchants abuse that he receives.
So I'm gonna give my explanation first and then my answer second.
Okay.
So to start this off, like the question of like should Mbappe stay and is he really a very limited player, i.e. a pace merchant type of player, is unfortunately complicated. So I'm gonna take this point from Sean, which I heard very recently. I don't know if it was in your hangout or on our Discord, but he made a very good point about pressure, right? So Mbappe is under a tremendous amount of pressure from a very young age. France put a lot of pressure on him by saying he's one of the greatest players they've ever produced. He won a World Cup, so there's pressure to follow up on that with something big like a Champions League. There's pressure from him from enterprises and endorsements like FIFA. You know, he made the cover of FIFA or something like that, I heard. And then, you know, like the pressure that comes with that. Plus the pressure of playing in the same team with Neymar. And like, of course, Neymar's overall the better player, better dribbler, everything. So he's also trying things that aren't really his strengths. You know, step overs, trying to go past 4 or 5 people. That's not really his style. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what I touched on in my podcast, which is inside forwards, right? There's 3 types, and I'm just going to like give you a really quick summary. And this actually pertains to the whole thing of like, is he a one-dimensional like kick and run merchant? There's 3 types of wide players. Traditional wingers,
that don't exist anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Inverted wingers and inside forwards. Inside forwards are predominantly, you know, in the postmodern age that like we're in, they're mainly used as goal scorers, and they're mainly, you know, known for off the ball movement. Think of Mo Salah. Inverted wingers are a little bit different, and people oftentimes get them confused, but there is a fine line between them. Inverted wingers start on the flank, they receive the ball, they take on defenders 1v1, they dribble past players more, they create space and chances for, you know, like players in the middle, strikers, goal-scoring midfielders, types of players. So, given that, is Mbappe more similar to a Salah, or is he more similar to a Ribery or Robin type player? He's more similar to Salah. The thing is, inside forwards are pretty limited as, you know, like on the pitch, and create a tactical problem because compared to inverted wingers, they don't cover and command the flank as much, and they don't track back as much. If you buy an inside forward, especially one that you know can or has the potential to score lots of goals, you have to supplement and complement them with the right players who can control the flank and create chances for them. The thing is, I'm a Madrid fan, and honestly, dude, like, I don't think it's the right time for him to come to Madrid. Because if he were to come to Madrid, we would not get the best out of Mbappe. historically Madrid has spent a lot of money, but because of COVID and because of this whole stadium thing, I don't see us spending a lot in the next like 3 to 4 years. I mean, I'm not an expert, but like just from the current climate, I don't think we're spending a lot of money. And if you get Mbappe, you need to get, like for example in Monaco, he had Lamar and a prime Benjamin Mendy flanking him, putting balls in, like creating chances. Then he can do his thing and score lots of goals.
Is Mbappe on the right track at PSG? We're not here about Real Madrid anymore. We're not here. Is Mbappe on the right track at PSG?
I think he will be better at PSG, like, more successful at PSG, and PSG have a better likelihood of getting the best out of him compared to Real Madrid if you're looking at just those two clubs, because players will come in and go. I don't think they're going to spend that much money on superstars like they did. They're more resistant to financial stress due to the pandemic. And with Leonardo, I think they'll like build a better squad overall in the coming decade, let's say. So I think they're a team that can give him the right resources to succeed. So for him, between Madrid and PSG right now, honestly, staying is the better option. Yeah.
All right. So, guys, it's now time to go back down memory lane. And you know where I'm going here. So I'm going to open up some cold wounds. The Miracle at Camp Nou and Nightmare in Paris. Two of the darkest days in PSG's history. Let me repeat. PSG in 2017 were going into the second leg with a 4-0 lead. I repeat, they went into that second leg with a 4-0 lead. And we all know what happened. Manchester United's lineup in Paris was dog food. Literal dog food. And PSG were playing in Paris. Yet they somehow conspired to lose that game. Shout out to your boy Gianluigi Buffon, who is 43 years old, by the way, and has not yet retired. And your boy Kimpembe getting a handball. So let's first deal with the miracle at Camp Nou. So let me first come to PSG and with this one. For you specifically, what were your thoughts of miracle at Camp Nou? Did you hate the players? The players had let you down. Was this Emery? Do you feel that this was Emery's fault, or do you look at Mascherano fouling Di Maria in the box, not getting a penalty, and the referees screwing you over? How do you view that fateful night at the Miracle at Camp Nou?
I put 20% blame on the referee mistake, because it wasn't 1 or 2 or 3. It was a lot of mistakes. The Suarez dive, a handball on Piqué, Mascherano tackle. But most of it, I put the blame on Unai Emery. Because according to most reports, Unai Emery told the players, like, we have won 4-0, just take it easy. You won't concede 4 or 6 goals. So most of the blame I put on Unai Emery, because he made our players come out unmotivated, unhappy, and yeah, that caused that made it much easier for Barca to break us down and win.
And what about the game in Paris against Manchester United, against much weaker opposition? Do you just put it down to the Kimpembe handball, or do you say that should have been a game that you should have won? Or maybe, this is what people have said, Neymar wasn't on the pitch, Mbappe messed up on the big stage. So who was to blame for the situation in Paris against United?
Well, the situation in Paris, you can't blame anyone exactly. It was because it was 3 big impactful mistakes from PSG players. The first one from Kerr, the second one from Buffon, the third one from Kimpembe. It was 3 individual errors. And United, they had 3 shots, and all of them were from the mistakes. So if we didn't make those mistakes, United wouldn't even play Europa League. They would play FL Championship right now.
All right. Ahmad, talk to me. First of all, Miracle at Camp Nou and Nightmare in Paris.
Can I first respond to Natsa showing disrespect to PSG? First of all, City are a smaller club than PSG with less history and has flopped against small teams in the Champions League. So I just want to say that.
Latsa you can't talk if your club has never even been to a final. PSG have at least been to a final. Unless you get to a final, you can't say anything. So Latza, let Pep first sniff a final before you can talk to a PSG who are finalists. Continue.
Yeah, but the Camp Nou game, I would put a lot of blame on the referees, as I've said before. Barcelona cheated. I don't know which ghost tackled Suarez in the penalty box. I don't know how Di Maria didn't get the penalty, but we still conceded 6 goals, and it's pretty bad. And yeah, you can put some blame on Emery for not hyping out the team, but as a professional footballer in the round of 16, and you know how much Champions League means to us PSG fans, you need to fight for everything. But the the game, when I watched it, it was just made for us to lose. The ridiculous goals they got, like Munier sliding with his head tackling Neymar, Kurzawa making a mistake, and the first goal like hitting the bar and Suarez headed again. Like it was just ridiculous goals. I literally don't know what to say about the game. I think when we got free, when we scored a goal, we should have be finished with the game. We shouldn't concede more at that stage. I understand the first 3 goals because we got a lot of pressure from Barcelona. They really wanted to score. But when we got that goal and they needed to score 3 more, that was not acceptable to concede 3 more. And the game at with United, it will maybe be one of the most ridiculous games I've ever seen in my life. Like, don't get me wrong, the Barcelona game, we got absolutely smashed by them. Barcelona absolutely outplayed us. But the United game, like first of all, the first game we absolutely outclassed them. Tactically, Tuchel outclassed Oli. But the second game, we had like 75% possession. We controlled the game so good. We had a lot of chances. Yeah, Mbappe missed some chances, but he still got the first assist. So we can't really slander him that much. But the 3 goals we conceded, ridiculous. Kerrer making a perfect through pass to Lukaku. And the only thing I would say to Tuchel is that why did you play Buffon? But we would say because of the experience, but I don't think he's a good enough goalkeeper when he's so old.
Just very quickly, Buffon needs to be brought up on charges or something because how this man is bullying people to still play him, I think is offensive. Like, I'll keep it real with you. I blame that whole thing on Buffon. Call it crazy. I blame the entire thing squarely on Gianluigi Buffon. But please continue.
Yeah, it was a crazy mistake, man. But and then the final decision, I won't even blame Kimpembe for that because that was a ridiculous call. I don't think that was close to a penalty, but that game was so weird for me. And again, it was like everything was against us. How did we lose that game? It was crazy for me. I didn't even watch football. And you know, for 1 month I didn't watch football, and in that run, PSG was so bad in the league. I remember. I think like Kimpembe conceded an own goal like each game. It was crazy. Yeah, that season we scrapped that season.
All right, wait. So let me. I think this guy's coming to attack you, man. So your boy Natsa says, how many European trophies do PSG have, Ahmad? Because we have one. HAH was born before your club was created. Now, first of all, no. Don't respond. First of all, you don't know how old I am, Latsa. So Latsa, you don't know how old I am. My age is a mystery. So don't just start assuming you know my age. And Latsa, this is the reality of the matter. When we're talking big boy talk, has your club been to a Champions League final? See, before last year, you could say and have all the insults. Latsa, you can't say anything to PSG, INT or Ahmad because you've not been to a final. You've not been to a final. So unless your club gets to a final, you can't say anything against PSG because as of last year, as they have gotten further in this competition than you all. So Latsa, how about you pick up the phone and tell Lep to deliver me that CL? Until then, chill. Thank you. Now I'm going to come to Vas with this. This is the next section I want to come with Vas because that was more personal. So I wanted the PSG guys to answer. So Vas, I'm going to come with you with this. I want to talk about Verratti. Verratti gets disrespected. Verratti is the most skilled. Now, you have to understand the most skilled midfielder of the last 10 years. So, more than Xavi, more than Modric, Toni Kroos, Iniesta, in terms of all-around skill and ability, he's amazing. He got a 92% on the eye test. Got a 92% on the eye test. So I think he has scored one of the highest for midfielders of the eye test, 92%. I mean, Iniesta got like an 87 or something. So what I want to also know about, guys, is why is there so much disrespect for Marco Verratti? And why don't people actually, because forget about his achievements in terms of the pure skill of tackling, ball control, dribbling, balance with the ball, and overall footballing mechanics. He is clear of every other midfielder of the last 10 years, specifically for the eye test. So Vas, talk to me about the talent of Verratti and why people don't give him his just dues.
I mean, I hope Gatlock is watching this, and like, if he's not watching this, then you should definitely send it to him, because that's just objectively not true, dude. He's not like, I mean,
it is true,
dude. Which eye test was this that he's better than Iniesta and Isco, dude? Like, I mean, I don't think even the PSG fans here would agree with that, dude. Like, I mean, that's just not true. What I will tell you is, dude, that Verratti is given way too much to do in PSG's midfield, because, like I said before, their squad isn't complete. Their 11 isn't complete, so he often has a lot to do. And the thing is, I feel personally, after especially that Liverpool game, and everybody, and these two will know exactly what game I'm talking about. I think after watching that and his performance as a one-man midfield, I mean, he's really good. He's much better than Thiago. For example,
whoa, Vas. Who is Thiago? Why are you bringing Thiago into this? I just said that he's the most skilled midfielder of the last 10 years. So bring me Iniesta and bring me Xavi, bring me the crop of the crop. Don't say Thiago. So again, Vas, why don't you believe, based on the eye test and its footballing mechanics, is he one of the best midfielders in the world? Just based on just his pure skill. Forget about what he's achieved. Based on his ability.
I mean, so before I answer that, dude, quick question. Red, he just implied, because I see Red in the chat, dude. He basically implied that this guy's more skilled and everything overall compared to Pogba, dude. So I don't know how you feel about that, Red, but you better you better say something to this guy, put in a super chat or something and answer that.
No. Look, you don't need to put in anything. My word is my word, and I've already said he is the most skilled midfielder of the last 10 years. Facts are facts, but continue, Vas.
I mean, so that's my answer to that. He's not the most skilled. I mean, Iniesta's a much better dribbler, passer, more press resistant than him, everything, dude. So that's an easy answer.
Okay. PSG, Auntie, talk to me about Verratti and why he doesn't get the praise he deserves.
The thing with Verratti, when you compare him to players like Iniesta and Isco, why Verratti is better in a sense that he's so complete. He's world class at everything, at defending. Iniesta at defending and all these players, they can't defend. Verratti does the whole thing. He has 6 tackles per game and 6 progressive passes per game. He does everything. And one thing I don't like that Vaz has been saying is that players like Neymar and Verratti, they do much more than other players because PSG are lacking quality. That's totally wrong. Why Neymar and Verratti do much more? It's because they're that good. They can do the defensive and the attacking phase. Ronaldo became a goal scorer because he can't create chances. He can't dribble anymore. He can't do that. Whilst Neymar and Verratti, they're that good. They can control the whole attack or the whole midfield. So yeah, Verratti levels above most midfielders in the world right now.
But a key thing that PSG Auntie said is that tackling. I told you, overall mechanics. Iniesta can't tackle. Xavi can't tackle. Verratti is tackling. He's winning the ball. He's picking the ball up from deep. He's winning challenges. He's dribbling. He's carrying the ball up forward. He's good. He's good in the middle of the pitch. He's good in the front third. He's good in the first third. There is nobody that has been as complete a midfielder as Verratti, and that is in fine. Iniesta in the final third is money. We get that. In terms of overall complete football, Iniesta, Xavi, Modric isn't touching the talent of Marco Verratti. Before I come to Ahmad, let me see what this dude is saying, man. So Latza says, I know Ahmad hasn't recovered from KDM bitch slapping his nursery club out of the CL. We had the last laugh. When last did Chelsea win the Premier League? I'll do you one better, Latza. So Chelsea last won the Champions League in 2012. When last did Man City win the Champions League? 05? 06? 09? Maybe, was it 99? Oh, I'm sorry. You're an eeny weeny small club. You see, big clubs have won the Champions League. Loser clubs who stand outside the club, outside the main place, outside the VIP, haven't won the Champions League. Yo,
relax.
get to a final. Okay, I want to, but get to a final. Get to a final. Then we can talk. Get to a final, then we can talk. The heck? I'm not talking to talk about Verratti, man. The hell?
Yeah, AJ, I want to thank you for calling him Verratti, first of all. And
I had to bite my tongue. It was hard, man. It was hard.
no, but Verratti, man, like one of the best midfielders I've seen play in this last 10 years. What I would say about people don't rating him is basically one thing. They don't use their eyes. They don't watch him play.
Yeah, they don't see him play. They don't see him play.
Like I don't even want to argue with people who are stat merchants. How can you judge a midfielder on stats? It's ridiculous.
You see, so very quickly, see, that is why that's how you take the joy out of the game. People are like, oh, how many assists and goals happen? You see, I grew up, instance didn't really exist. Dial-up was a piece of crap. So you had to just watch the game. When you just watch Marco Verratti play, basically, it's sort of like if, like, let's say you just go into a park or somewhere. Marco Verratti is those kinds of guys where when you just watch him, you're like, yeah, this guy is standing out. You see, because let's keep it real. Iniesta is a system merchant. He's reliant on the Barca system. Verratti is the kind of guy where put him in any team, anywhere, he'll do it just because Verratti is not dependent on anyone. Give him the ball, he'll do what he does. Continue.
Yeah, I would say that Xavi is more of a system player than Iniesta, but
True. You're right. True. Yeah.
Yeah, but right now I can just compare with Thiago because I think Thiago is the second best player in the world, and Verratti is so more complete than him. He can drop deep. We saw it even in PSG now when Neymar was injured when Pochettino first came. Verratti played as number 10, and he was amazing at that. So the all-round of Verratti is crazy. The most disrespected thing with Verratti is how he beats the press. He is one of the best at beating the press, and we see in Thiago now at Liverpool shitting himself when the players in the Premier League press him, can't defend, conceding silly fouls, conceding penalties. For me, Verratti is clear of those players because he's so complete. And what I would agree with Vas in the sense of Verratti maybe throughout the years hasn't had the best midfield with him compared to someone like Modric, I would say. But overall, Verratti is an amazing player for me, one of the best. The only thing I would say about Verratti, and this is the only thing holding him back, and it's the same with Neymar, is the injuries. It's the only thing holding him back.
Because I think someone even said it in the live chat. Because again, it's like, if you don't have a good run of games, it's hard. Even when you do have a good run of games, if you kept getting injured, comeback, it's very hard. But my thing about it is that, see, this is what I say to people: forget me. I'm just a humble football analyst. Just take time and just watch this guy play. Because my thing is that it's because, you see, central midfield was my position. That's the position that I always played. So whenever I watch football, the guys that I am drawn to are central midfielders because that is how I played. So the way he plays a central midfielder position in totality of defense, midfield, and attack, that is what sets him apart from everyone else. So it's when you just watch him play and just see what he's doing over 90 minutes and the kind of risks he keeps on taking, that is how you just appreciate that. This guy is a special talent, special player that we just hope that remains fit.
It is even crazy. Like, even if he plays against Barcelona, he won't be 100% fit because a dumb idiot called Dimitri Payet just kicked him in the stomach
Yeah,
for
yeah,
no reason.
yeah.
So it's crazy. Like, they, I don't know if it's unfortunate with the injuries or maybe it's just a PSG problem because we had have a lot of injuries in our team throughout the years. Maybe it was Tuchel's fault with the intensity. I don't know, but this guy is very unlucky. If he was 100% fit each season, we would have won the Champions League last year because he wasn't even in our team. Like, HH, if you watch PSG last season, do you realize that we were more pragmatic than usual?
Mm.
It was
Oh
only
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
of one
True.
reason.
Yeah.
Because we had Ander Herrera in the midfield and he can't pass the ball. If we had Verratti, our system would be completely different. So Verratti, he's a talented man.
Um. So let's now talk managers, shall we? So let me just put in my thingy. So Tuchel and Pochettino, I want to combine these guys together here. Now, this is what I always said about Thomas Tuchel. I always said that because remember, I want to talk about that Bayern Munich final separate. So, but this is just to do with it. But again, I wanted to keep that final thing as a separate topic. But what I always said for Tuchel is he will not lead, he will not win a Champions League for PSG because I don't think he's got the managerial skill to. But he was close. And he got a lot closer than I think he would. Now you can say, oh, it was an easy run and everything. Who cares? Do you think FC Porto gave a damn that their run to their entire run was easy? I don't think FC Porto gave it and like, no, we won it and we'll go down. Wikipedia will just say, yeah, these guys won it and over. Them like, they won't be like, oh, this is who they played. No, they just won it and that is it. But I just never felt that you would see Tuchel being the man that gives Champions League to PSG, although I do respect what he did. Pochettino isn't that dude. And we have to stop being sentimental. Oh, he knows the club because he played for the club for 1 month. So because he knows the club, he understands PSG and therefore that will lead him to now winning. The sentiments was similar to that clown, Frank Lampard and Chelsea. Oh, Lampard knows the club and everything. He's sacked. And he'll probably be the new manager of either Bournemouth or Scunthorpe very soon. Or perhaps even Elche. So, I want you guys to talk to me about Tuchel and how you felt Tuchel's tenure went. And if you believed if things went a different way, he would have built upon that final appearance if Tuchel stayed. And also come to and try to sell me on Pochettino because I'm not sold. After the stunts he pulled in the final of the Champions League, playing Harry Kane, who had not played for 2 months, and benching the dude that scored a hat-trick in the semi-final, I thought that, you know what, that this guy will forever be a loser because that is one of the biggest managerial faux pas I've seen in recent memory. So, first to PSG INT, talk to me about your thoughts on Tuchel and do you think Pochettino is the man and is the right man?
So my thoughts on Tuchel. Well, I'm happy for everything he has done for PSG the first 2 years. Incredible. And with the Champions League final, for me, that's the furthest he could have reached with us, the Champions League final. And yeah, when this season started, everyone saw that his time has run out. It's time for him to get sacked and a new manager to come in. If Pochettino was the right decision, there's uncertainty, but he was the best one out there that we could get right now. And with that stuff bringing up that like oh, he has played for the club and stuff, that's mostly because the problems that PSG had with Tuchel was he didn't respect the PSG institution like Pochettino has so far. Tuchel a lot of time criticized the club and stuff officially in the press conferences, and PSG didn't like that, and they know that Pochettino would never disrespect PSG in that way. So my summary on Tuchel is, yeah, he really made us change from a quarter-final club to a semi-final final Champions League club, and without him that would never have happened. Plus, he improved a lot of our best players are now. Kimpembe was nothing before he came in. Now look at him, one of the best defenders in the world. Marquinhos in that midfield role, Verratti, everyone loved him, and he made one of the biggest changes in our team that was needed, and that was the mentality. Before that, we didn't have mentality. United third team had better mentality than PSG's team, but now mentally we're one of the strongest teams in Europe.
So Amon, talk to me, man. Tuchel and Pochettino, Tuchel's tenure. Do you think the final was as far as it was, and do you think eventually it was a success, or do you think if he had stayed, he could have gotten you guys further? And what do you think realistically is Pochettino that dude?
I will always respect Tuchel for what he did for PSG. Just getting the barrier of going through the quarterfinals to the semifinals and the final. I think he's a very, very talented manager. I think he actually is one of the most talented managers in the world. Now, was he the right fit for PSG? Tuchel is a kind of manager. He loves his formations. He loves the squad. He needs those players who will work for him a lot. And that's why I think maybe Chelsea is a better fit for him. A squad where maybe Chelsea don't have many world-class players, but they have a big squad with a lot of players who will work for the team. It is maybe a better fit for Tuchel. Now, the biggest thing I would say, and I agree with PSG.
So you don't think that he could handle the superstar personalities?
No. I was coming to that.
Okay.
But I would agree with PSG in this. The mentality has completely changed. Press talking about he's a bad player manager. He can't manage players. That's absolutely false. I never seen a PSG squad this happy with Tuchel. Players like Neymar hugging him, talking with him. I don't even know which language they are talking, but in some way they are talking to each other, smiling with Neymar. And I never seen that. I didn't see that with Unai Emery. So the management with the players was absolutely beautiful with Tuchel. And the tactics I thought was very good. As we said, in the first season, he played very offensive, very pressing, because we had the players. But in the Champions League knockout stages, he's changed his style because we didn't have Verratti and played more pragmatic. And it worked. And it worked in the final as well. We will talk about it later, but it worked in the final as well.
Okay.
But the problem with him, I don't know if I will blame Tuchel or the board. Not the board, especially Leonardo. It wasn't a good combination to have Leonardo with Tuchel, because you need to remember Leonardo, he didn't hire Tuchel. It was a previous Enrique, previous sporting director, who hired him. Leonardo wants his guy. That's the problem. He wants his guy, and the communication was a disaster. The public blame they put on each other, it was crazy, and I really thought that this season Tuchel wasn't good, and it was mostly because he changed the formation. He openly said he wasn't happy with the transfers. He got players he didn't want it and played them out of position in sort of demonstrate that he wasn't happy with them. So the second Tuchel, when I think about it, was right, because it was a toxic environment in PSG. But what he has done, and as a coach, I think he's very talented, and I'm happy for what he does. And for Pochettino, come on, do you really compare him with Lampard? HH?
No,
Lampard, Frank, Fat Frank, Sheikh.
No. Okay. Let me be clear here. Pochettino is light years a better manager than that clown. The comparison I was making is you being a previous player of a club, and that's sort of being an advantage for you. That is the only similarity I'm drawing. I am not comparing them as managers. No way. Pochettino is a far better manager than Lampard could ever hope to be. That's a fact. But because people said, oh, he played for PSG, he knows the club, so this gives him one up over Emery, Blanc, and Tuchel. But how much can we really read to a guy being a former player and him helping him managerially? That's my thing.
No, but as a manager, maybe it isn't such an advantage that he knows the club. But for us, it's a big deal because, as PSG said, he knows what PSG is about. He knows what we want. He knows how to respect the board. So that's a big bonus for us. And we can't forget that he came in mid-season. a manager comes in mid-season, maybe need to adapt to the club and how it works. But he came straight in and know how it works. So for me, that's a big advantage. If I really think about it, he was the best manager out there for us to get. And for me, the most important thing is that we need a good relationship between the manager and the sporting director. And this was Leonardo's choice. So he hasn't now nothing to complain about the manager. This was his choice. And the thing about him playing Lucas Moura, not playing Lucas Moura in the final. Hey, have you seen Lucas Moura? He's a dribble pace merchant.
No,
Of
don't
course, you
do
play
that.
Kane over him.
Don't do that. No. But again, I repeat again. Kane hadn't kicked a ball for 2 months,
But
and in that year, this kick and run merchants scored their hat trick that got you to the final.
yes, but if he didn't play Kane and they lost, do you know he would get more abuse then? Because they would have said, "Oh, you didn't play your best player,"
No,
so
no,
you
no, oh,
can't
no,
really put that on him.
no. And then, as a manager, you should stand on your own 2 feet and said, "Well, I'm the manager, and I made an assessment saying that he simply wasn't ready to start, and I felt that based on the team ethos and the team chemistry, I wanted to maintain the chemistry. And as I always said, what you do is Kane is on the bench. Most likely, you will go a goal down, and then you bring Kane on to help you win the game. And if anybody says anything and say, bro, the guy hadn't played for 2 months. So yes, I did use him, but it made no sense for me to start him from the start when he wasn't a match fit. He wasn't match fit. So it made sense to go with people who were match fit.
I don't know. I disagree a bit. It's like us saying we wouldn't play Mbappe because he's unfit in the game against Atalanta. But I get your point. And the fact that he managed Tottenham and he didn't win a trophy. I think you can't judge him that much on it. Like Tottenham, they were much smaller club before Pochettino came to Tottenham, and Tottenham isn't a big club like PSG. They don't expect trophies. They was fine with him getting top four, and that's one of the reasons he was never backed. I think he got zero money in two transfer seasons in a row. In my opinion, that's criminal to do that to a manager. So that he didn't win a trophy is a bad thing, but you can't judge a manager just on that, especially when he managed Tottenham. Now he's in a new stage in his career, in a big club, in PSG. Let's judge him on trophies in this club, not in clubs like Spurs.
Okay. Vas, talk to me, man. Tuchel and your boy Pochettino, man.
So this is like kind of okay. So it probably doesn't help that I'm really biased on this topic, dude. And like for when it comes to both managers, and I'll get into why exactly that is. The thing with Tuchel is like here's the difference between Pochettino and Tuchel, right? And I'll tell you like ultimately why this managerial change at such an abrupt time, just merely like a matter of weeks before this Champions League match between Barca and PSG, ultimately doesn't really change the odds a whole lot for that game. The thing is, PSG were struggling a little bit. At the start of the season, they kind of had to like struggle a little bit to make it out of the groups and everything. And of course, okay, then there was the sacking. But here's the thing: I think the sacking had it was said before that Tuchel had oftentimes has disagreements with the board and everything. And from there, I'll say this, right? Here's the difference between Tuchel and Pochettino. Tuchel has some very and I've seen both these managers very closely because I watch a lot of Bundesliga, so I know Tuchel from his Mainz days. The difference between Tuchel and Pochettino is the highs of Tuchel, and I'm not just talking in terms of tactics and coaching. I'm talking about everything to do with a manager, right? The highs of Tuchel, some of the tactical masterclasses he puts on. For example, the 2-1 against Liverpool, that was amazing. And even the final against Bayern, he actually set PSG up really, really well, despite not having Verratti, a huge player, in that final for them. That's amazing. And Pochettino will never, I'm going to tell you this right now, dude, whether he's backed or not, this guy's never going to reach that level of a tactical acumen, because the thing is Tuchel is much more intelligent as just an overall,
Is that fair? Because
yes.
no,
Yes.
no, 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 because Pochettino has done he did a very good job for Tottenham. Yes, they didn't win any trophies, but tactically, what he did with Tottenham
No,
was
no, no.
key.
I'll explain you. I'll explain you why, and I'll expose this guy right now, dude. Like he's actually not a great tactician. The thing is, like Tuchel's tactical highs will never be reached by Pochettino. You know, if you look at schematically what he
we don't know
does.
because you see, we'll get to Tuchel specifically for the final. We'll talk about Tuchel, but continue, man, because
But the
he
managerial
was
lows of Tuchel, you know, the fact that he gets into fights with the board, it's already happened twice. You know, like Pochettino, I feel like, and it was said before, he won't really have these problems. So internally, PSG will be like more stable, I think, with Pochettino. So that's a pro of Pochettino, and probably a big reason why he was brought in so abruptly. But here's the thing, like with Pochettino, right? Like I don't think Pochettino, because I've seen like this guy really closely, dude, and I've actually looked at like a lot of tactical mistakes. When Pochettino tends to face a more intelligent mind offensively compared to him, for example, a Pep Guardiola or a Klopp, you know, like he tends to falter a lot. And you're gonna counter by saying, you know, like he knocked Pep out of the Champions League, right?
no. As I said again, I don't see. I don't give the Tottenham run to Pochettino. I give it to luck and individuals.
No, exactly.
Some management, but really luck and individuals.
Exactly, it was like because even in that game, and I wonder if Natsa is like still in the chat.
Yeah, he's there. Of course, he's there. He's there. Of course, he's there.
See, if you want to see an exposure of Pochettino's tactics completely, like watch his tactics get torn to shreds, you know, and see like how overrated this guy is. He's good, but he's overrated. Like if you want to see how overrated this guy is, Yumi and him can do a collab sometime and talk about that 4-1 win that Man City did over Tottenham in December of 2017. Because in that game, Pep completely ripped this guy a new one, dude. Like he made a juvenile elementary error of playing a mid block against Man City. You know, like if anybody knows against Man City, dude, like you either have to go ultra attacking like how Liverpool used to do, or you have to sit back and counter attack them. Playing a mid block left these guys completely exposed at the back, and Ederson had a field day hitting balls over the top into Sterling, Sane, all those guys, dude. Like they got in behind Tottenham so easily.
So basically, but specifically to PSG, then what are you saying? Are you saying that this is a bad hire, this is a downgrade from Tuchel, and this will end in failure?
Oh yeah, in some games it will be, dude. In some games it will be because like for example, against Bayern, like I don't see him using the kind of like smart football like and smart tactics that Tuchel did in that game, playing a very compact shape, not taking the bait and playing a flank game against Bayern. Like Pochettino, like there's a greater possibility of him making those mistakes than Tuchel making those mistakes. You know, and the thing is like if PSG make a final, because when you have Neymar and Mbappe and Verratti and all these players fit, right? There's always a chance you can make the final. But they're going to have to suffer some tactical mistakes from Pochettino and rely on some of that individual brilliance, much like how Tottenham did in 2019. You know, it's not going to be very straightforward with this guy. And, like, I think, you know, like, they're still favorites against Barcelona, but, like, don't be surprised if they have to suffer a little bit and concede a few goals in that tie. Just saying.
Okay.
Can I respond to
Yes, sir.
quickly? Yeah. I get the sense of it's a preference. If you think Tuchel is more tactically better than Pochettino or not. But we can't disrespect this guy, and we need to give him time. Like we can't forget how shit Tuchel was this season. I haven't seen PSG play this badly in a long time this season. And for him to get sacked, I think it was the right decision. The arrogant mistakes he did by playing Marquinhos as a CDM and putting a Portuguese Maguire at the back, Danilo Pereira, was one of the worst decisions I've seen in PSG history. So I can't forget that. And look, Tuchel is a very good manager. I think Pochettino is the same. And teams have lost to City 4-5-0. Just look at Liverpool, apparently having one of the best squads in Europe, losing 4-1. I think they lost 4-0, 5-0 last season. So these things happen. But we need to give Pochettino time, man.
Yeah, Portuguese Maguire was very harsh, man. Okay, look, there's maybe like a quick fire one that I just thought of. I want to talk about underrated. And I want to combine these two, Kimpembe and Marquinhos. So when Kimpembe gave away that handball in the Nightmare in Paris, I was like, this could affect him, and I think this could potentially really see him sort of just fade out of existence or really go into obscurity. But like any player with a strong mentality does, you lick your wounds and you get up again. And I think specifically for PSG's run last year, Kimpembe was very good, and I think he's established himself as a really, really solid defender. It's unfortunate that he's French because it's going to be extremely hard to get into that French team based on just the quality and how many defenders are ahead of him.
Who's
And
ahead of him? Longlet? Who's ahead of him?
Varane
Longlet?
and Umtiti. Varane, Umtiti,
Umtiti?
Pantic.
No. Kimpembe is starting every game for France.
He pocketed Ronaldo twice. Ronaldo, who's the best goal scorer of all time.
Are you telling me that Kimpembe and Varane are the starting centre backs for the Euros?
I don't know about Varane, but Kimpembe
Yeah,
is
maybe
starting.
Kimpembe is 100%. He's the best. He has the highest chance of starting every game for France after all the other.
Look, we'll say so Kimpembe is 1-1. I think he's already established himself as one of the top young defenders out there, and I think I was very impressed by his composure and his consistency during the CL run last year. Marquinhos is a funny one. Because as Brazilian, you always go for who's the right back, the left back, and who are the attacking players. But I think what impresses me about Marquinhos is his versatility. Centre back, but moved into midfield, smooth as a knot. The guy effortlessly is able to do to fulfill the roles of the midfield, very similar to what we saw with Joshua Kimmich, very similar to what we saw with Bart Simpson, aka Lam, when he moved from right back to DM. And also the key thing about Marquinhos' clutch, he always manages to come in with very important goals. So the versatility, very useful, can play multiple positions and can also score and score Gs. So first to PSG, Intiman, do you feel that both of these players are underrated, and do you feel that the world needs to sort of value them a lot more based on what they do?
Kimpembe and Marquinhos, yeah, they deserve much more respect. The saddest thing is people can only watch them in the Champions League because they never watch Liga games. That's why so many people started hyping up Marquinhos and Kimpembe from last year's Champions League run. And that's what PSG need to do. They need to progress further in the Champions League so the Premier League, the Bundesliga, the La Liga fans can see them more. And I don't even think this is an unpopular opinion, but the centre-back partnership with Kimpembe and Marquinhos may be the strongest in the world right now.
Whoa, okay. Relax. PSG,
100%
relax.
I agree.
Oh, God.
What can you compare it to?
Okay. Are you seeing what Man City are doing?
Come
Specifically
on, HH.
Diaz and Stones.
You're being a 10-game merchant.
But I can use the same argument as Premier League fans use for, let's see Diaz and Laporte and Stones in the Champions League, not against Sheffield and Burnley and so on.
So you're telling me that, in your humble opinion, Kimpembe and Marquinhos are the best defensive partnership in the world?
Yeah, because if look at Liverpool, yeah, Van Dijk, world class, above everyone. But who has he beside him? Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez is just a black version of Maguire. He's slow, he's fat, he can't move. Real Madrid, Varane he made Real Madrid get knocked out of the Champions League last year. Ramos is getting injured and getting red cards, so I don't see a good comparison with Marquinhos Kimpembe to another team's centre-back partnership.
That's a lofty claim, man. Lofty claim, Ahmad, man. Do you support that claim?
I am so thankful that you brought this up, HH. 100% they are the best partnership in the world. Tell me one more. I don't want to hear City, because if you talk about City, then you're a 10-game merchant. You need to show me more. Marquinhos and Kimpembe has been consistent for 1.5 years, and you want to bring Diaz and John Stones, who has been people consider him a flop last year, and you're telling me they are better than Kimpembe and Marquinhos.
So
Look.
wait, so basically, see, Martin Rosario, what is this nonsense on my screen? Martin Rosario, sorry, I'm mistake. Latin Rosario says Delict as to who the hell is Demiral? Look, please continue. Like, Latin Rosario, get that garbage off my screen, man. Ahmad, please continue. Please continue.
Yes, we need to respect PSG's defense, and I want to bring another player into this, Keylor Navas. I want to have them as a free. These are very underrated players. People talk about PSG's attack a lot. Our best aspect last season wasn't our attack. We struggled in attack. Our best aspect was our defense, conceding only 6 goals in the whole Champions League campaign, and we came to the final. Chelsea conceded 7 in 2 legs.
Wait, no, hold up right there. Who did you play in the knockout? Dortmund? Atalanta? Red Bull Leipzig without Timo Werner.
This is with the group stages, playing 6 games. So Real Madrid smashing them 3-0, and then we conceded 2 at their place. But listen, Marquinhos, and this season, I think you're talking about City, and I know you would say it's a Liga, but we have conceded as many goals as them. And Marquinhos and Kimpembe hasn't played that much together because our injury problems have been a disgrace this season. And for me, Marquinhos is one of the best centre backs in the world. The guy is incredible. I think with Verratti, he's the most important player in PSG.
But let's be fair here. Don't you think that these guys have not yet been battle tested yet? As in, who have they truly faced for us to call them elite? Because Real Madrid last year is not the same Real Madrid we know of before. Dortmund is an orphanage. Atalanta and Red Bull Leipzig.
Yeah, but HH, as you are an international merchant, didn't he win the Copa America? Conceded like 0 goals the whole tournament, and conceded only 1 goal in the final. So we need.
Ahmed, can I add one thing?
Yeah.
All the people talk about how good Bayern were last year. They had 1 or 2 chances against PSG. That's how good Kimpembe and Marquinhos and Navas are.
Yeah, like we need to respect these players, and you said about versatility. You forgot that Marquinhos was actually a right back in the beginning when he played in Roma. He moved into centre back, and then when Tuchel saw the versatility, how good this guy is with the ball, the passing, the composedness, the tackling, and this is the thing I would say he's better than Kimpembe. Kimpembe is more of the monster in defense, the guy who will tackle everyone with the pace and everything. Marquinhos is more of the smarter one. He don't need to run and make a big tackle because he will be at the right place at the right time. Very, very similar to Thiago Silva. So these players, like, without Marquinhos, we wouldn't be where we are right now in the Champions. We wouldn't be in the Champions League final without Marquinhos, and that's why I always say, you hear me always say this, and this is directly to Premier League fans who says PSG is being carried by Neymar and Mbappe. Our 2 most important players are Marquinhos and Verratti, and Neymar is maybe the best player, but we need those guys to make this PSG team function.
Okay. So before I come to Vas, from Latin Lazaro says, okay, De Ligt, Chiellini, better, still watch them. You see, De Ligt, Chiellini, that's a much better option to roll. Okay, Demiral here, but please don't, no. De Ligt, Chiellini, cool. De Ligt, although I still don't think he's dead, but he's getting better though. But I would still put Marquinhos, Kimpembe as better than De Ligt and Chiellini, but it is a lot closer because, look, I respect Chiellini. Although this didn't pick Chiellini though. It didn't pick Chiellini, but I think if I'm going to compare De Ligt, Chiellini, Kimpembe and thingy, I still say they are slightly better than as a pair. I need to see De Ligt and Chiellini play further and specifically, and this goes to both pairs. Let's see what you go do against better opposition in the CL where you got properly battle tested.
Right, and they lost against Lyon.
But that's a good thing you said that, dude, because, like, to be honest, I don't fully get the battle tested argument. Like I very much agree with like, you know, for the most part with the PSG fans on this one, dude. Like they are battle tested. The fact that they only conceded one against Bayern, and I feel like that was an eventuality because of like the missing chances on the other end. Like of course if you miss chances you're gonna concede against this team.
How are you battle tested when you face the orphanage known as Dortmund, Atalanta, and Red Bull Leipzig?
Bro, Dortmund were not an orphanage, dude. Like, okay, Dortmund.
They are an orphanage.
No. The thing is, like, that's actually a game where that these two haven't even talked about, dude. Like, look at the performance, dude. Haaland was on fire last season, like the second best goal scorer in the Champions League.
Is Dortmund an elite team?
I think Haaland is an elite striker. That's my answer to that question, dude. Haaland is an elite striker, and this guy was on
and
fire.
And he scored 2 goals. He scored 2 goals in the first leg,
but not in the second leg. When you know Tuchel got his tactics right, and then they actually had to come clutch and come up with a really good performance, dude. Like the tackle of Kimpembe, I believe on like one of the Dortmund players, maybe it was Jadon Sancho. Like, and I think I need some help on this. Some of the PSG fans to like step in.
Yeah, it was on Haaland. It was on Haaland.
On Haaland. Okay, there we go, dude. That was one of the best tackles like placed in the Champions League. Like, I mean, like, that was, like, one of the tackles of the tournament right there. Like, and it was very clutch. Like, dude, these guys are proven. I mean, they're more proven than, like, I think on form, the Diaz-Stones partnership, like, is the most impressive on form based on the last couple of months. But between who's more proven, between Chiellini De Ligt as a partnership, Diaz Stones as a partnership, and Kimpembe Marquinhos as a partnership. Obviously, it's Kimpembe Marquinhos as a partnership, and the chemistry between them. They're the most proven because they made it to a Champions League final. Their spot on PSG's defense was the best defense in the whole tournament. And like when you know Neymar and Mbappe failed to score in some of those games, like against like Leipzig, for example, when they were missing chances, Marquinhos was the guy who came in and scored the goals, dude. He made the breakthrough in that game, I believe. He's the guy who scored the opener. So, did he?
Yeah, he saved us against United as well in the group stage. Don't forget the goal. He made it at Old Trafford.
Dude, like, these guys are amazing. And, like, dude, I've like, kept an eye on Kimpembe, dude, ever since that 4-0. Like, I get it. You know, like, the 6-1 happened after, dude. But, like, if you see this partnership in that 4-0, because, like, okay, then, they brought in Silva in the second leg. Emery made some mistakes or whatever. But that was the first big test these guys had together, and it was really amazing the job they did on MSN in that first leg. You have to like give these guys, props. You have to give them a shout out, dude. They're like really, really good. And I think, overall, like if you're talking just the past year, like they're probably the best center back partnership in Europe. Yeah.
Wait, hey JJ, can I just
Yes,
call
sir.
you out a bit?
Call
Why?
me out.
Yeah, you keep saying we had an easy run, and you can't give us credit.
Yeah.
Is it our fault that Liverpool flopped against Atletico, and then Atletico flopped against
No,
Leipzig?
No. Look, as I said again, it is what it is. If you guys had won the Champions League, do you think I'd have said, easy group? I'm just bringing the points of, okay, these guys are the best defensive partnership. I'm like, okay, you're the best defensive partnership, but who did you have to defend against?
Bayern.
And yeah, Bayern. But then in the end, they lost once. Even if they did, it was 1-0. But for me, I need a larger sample size. You see, Ramos and Varane for 3 seasons, 3 years in a row, they faced the very best of the best for 3 seasons in a row. That is why Ramos and Varane in that period, hands down, boom. I feel like Lucio and Samuel, they faced perhaps one of the most difficult games anybody had to face, which is 10 men against peak Barcelona with Pep Guardiola. And they only considered a 1G to freaking PK. So that's my thing. My thing, I'm a dot merchant, degree of difficulty. So you have a degree of difficulty in Bayern. For me, I'm like, see, they are in the conversation. Compare everything in the conversation. I need more. I just need more. And hey, bro.
Yes.
Next week, Messi's gonna say what's up, and we're gonna have a party. We're gonna have a meal.
I agree with you, Haji. Like Varane and Ramos overall has been much better because they won 3 Champions League. But we can't forget how bad they have been in this year or 2-year period. And I'm talking about right now. I think they are the best defensive partnership in the world over 1-year period. What they showed last year and even what they're showing this year, they haven't played as much together, but that's because a lot of injuries.
Okay, well, we'll see, man. What's it called? So we actually, before we head to on that, let me just get this. So from Bargav Condetti, thanks for the dub. Hope, how many levels is Mbappe ahead of Rashford? As of right now, Mbappe is tier 2. Some say up to 2, but right now, just to say he's tier 2. Rashford right now is tier 3. So he is 2 ranking levels ahead of Rashford. Anybody that dares put Rashford in the same breath as Mbappe, you're a psychopath. And that is absolutely disgusting. Respect a World Cup winner. So, guys, I want us to go down memory lane again. I want us to go back to that final against Bayern. I watched it here, right here. I was in this room when I watched the final. And guys, I'm shameless. I am what I am. I have my narratives. I'm sorry. Ever since I'm young, there's always a narrative I have. I try not to, but I can't help it. There's always a narrative. I needed Mbappe to win that Champions League. I needed it because this would be the final blow to those loser, good-for-nothing fanboys that have been the bane of my existence. I needed that. Hence why when Mbappe missed that chance in the box, I screamed and I banged the table because I knew how close it was. But I want to talk tactics. Tuchel F-top. Defensively, he was good because PSG were the only... See, it's weird though. Did Tuchel say what's up tactically, defensively? Because that was the one thing that really kept Bayern at bay, and that was actually the hardest game that Bayern ever had, and that was the only game that Bayern actually looked mortal. Or was it the case that because it's a final, and this is what tends to happen in finals, people are a lot more nervous, and it's a lot much more closer, and you're less riskier. I don't know, but still, you could give Tuchel kudos in keeping Bayern at bay in what was a very tight game that I think PSG perhaps overall edged. But my thing though is, he messed up offensively. By going with Neymar, Di Maria, and Mbappe, he messed up. Because your best attacking player, your most gifted attacking player, was nullified. Because Hansi Flick was like, phew, Neymar is a false 9, let's just swallow him up and force him to go deeper, and deeper. Whereas, who cares? Play Icardi, play whoever as striker. Put Neymar on one flank, Di Maria, we know you've helped us, but this is the final time. This is a big boy move. Di Maria, hold the bench. We may need you from the bench. Free up Neymar on one flank, free up Mbappe. And by freeing up Neymar, that would have made him far more dangerous in that game because he eventually did it in the second half. It was too late already. Game has timed it up. He needed to start with Neymar out wide at the beginning so Neymar could get the ball in 1v1 isolated situations to try and affect the game. But even still, PSG still got opportunities. They still beat the high line. They still managed to say what's up. But of course, Neuer is Neuer. So PSG, Innsma, looking back at that game, did you feel that PSG should have won this game and you were really close to saying what's up? Or do you just think that now Bayern were too mighty a team and you felt that Bayern being the stronger team would eventually win? Well, your thoughts looking back at it, and do you agree with me? Do you feel like if Tuchel got it tactically wrong or do you feel like he got it tactically right?
For me, that game, PSG versus Bayern, if it was played 10 times again, PSG would win 6 times and Bayern 4. Because if you look at all the chances, PSG had the more dangerous chances. Their goal came from a cross and bad marking from Kerrer on Kingsley Coman. For me, the biggest tactical mistake Tuchel made is he didn't tell Neymar to press and nullify Thiago from the game. Because I watched like videos before the game and stuff, and it was all talking about Neymar needs to press and put some pressure on Thiago that he didn't make. But yeah, Tuchel made 2 mistakes tactically in that game, and our players individually made us play that good. not thanks to his
So
tactics.
were you happy with that front three, or do you think it should have been Neymar, Icardi, Mbappe, or you were happy with that front three?
I'm happy with that front three, but yeah, Icardi would have been better. But I still get Tuchel because Icardi hadn't played that much, thanks to Tuchel not playing him, and he wasn't fit and ready. Plus, Di Maria just had a man of the match performance against Leipzig in the semi-final, so I get why he chose Di Maria over Icardi. But that was a mistake that he did from the start against Dortmund when he benched Icardi. His biggest mistake came against Dortmund. He started benching Icardi, benched him against Leipzig, and yeah, they benched him against Bayern.
So you still feel that it was a game that PSG should have won, that Bayern were not the better team on the
Yeah,
night?
yeah. With the chances we had, with that Neymar chance, with the amazing Neuer save, the Marquinhos chance, and of course the big Mbappe miss. If one of those chances had gone in, it would have been a different game. And I think that at 1-1, we would have gotten the last goal instead of Bayern.
Ahmad, talk to me about that game, bro.
Yeah, I completely agree. We were the better team that day. We could argue that Bayern is the better team overall, like in squad sense, but we played much better. And I don't agree with Tuchel had bad tactics. I think he set up perfectly. He realized that Bayern isn't as good as people think. They have a high line and they have been exposed. If you watch the game against
No,
Lyon,
but my thing, don't you think Neymar would have been better if he was played wide rather than a false nine?
no, but it's hard to say that Neymar should play wide or central because the guy has a free role in PSG. He can do whatever he does whatever he wants. Even in that game against Bayern, he went wide and linked up with Mbappe. He likes to go to the left hand side and link up with Mbappe. So the guy has a free role. And you talked about it, him going deep. I don't think it's a Neymar problem. I just think it's a creativity problem because again, we didn't have Verratti, and where does our creativity come from? And when you don't have Verratti, the biggest problem with Neymar is that he needs to come deep to create something. But I think Tuchel set up perfectly. He saw that against Lyon, Bayern Munich got hit on the counters, and they got hurtly, and they got saved again by Neuer. And he tried to implement the same style, and I think it worked. We weren't clinical enough. That was the only reason we lost that game. We wasn't clinical enough. Um, um, and what PSG said, I totally agree. And this is the hard thing. Can you really tell Neymar to press Thiago Alcantara? Is that really a possibility? Because if he pressed Thiago Alcantara, it would be a completely different game. Because their goal came from that Thiago Alcantara got so much time on the ball, could look around, give it a perfect ball to Kimmich, who then set up the goal. So for me, the biggest problem when Thiago has too much time on the ball, he becomes very dangerous. And I agree with that. The only mistake I think Tuchel made is that he should have told Neymar to press Thiago more. But again, can you really tell Neymar what to do? So, but overall, I think we played the perfect game.
So you agree with PSG in that if that game is played 10 times, PSG would win 6 out of 10. That's PSG had a tactical handle in the game, just that they were unlucky on the night.
Yes, I agree. In the sense of the way Tuchel set up against the team. But overall, I think Bayern has a better team, more complete team than us. But the way Tuchel set the team up, and we know that Bayern Munich doesn't have really a good defense, and when they play that high line, they put a high risk on getting countered. And PSG, has one of the most danger counter-attacking players in Mbappe, Neymar, Di Maria, and Paredes, who can hit those balls. So for me, I agree. I think if we play this game again, if we take our chances, we would have won.
Right, Vast, man, how did you view that final, man?
Dude, it was really like, I mean, and I completely agree again with the previous two speakers, because the thing is, like, you know, this game was really like a battle between two like amazing tacticians. On one side, you had like Hansi Flick, who's done great work with Bayern, and like he's suddenly out of nowhere put himself in that stratosphere of like the elite coaches of the world, like as of right now. And Tuchel, who actually for the most part did the right things. Like I really think he did the right things. And of the managers who played against Bayern so far for the past, you know, like year and a half, as long as Flick was, you know, the coach, he was probably the best in terms of how he set the team up. I'm gonna meet the previous two speakers halfway and say that, like, you know, maybe he could have asked Neymar to do more work on Thiago, because out of the outfield players from a Bayern perspective, you know, like, of course I think Neuer was the man of the match, but of the 10 outfield players, Thiago probably was the most impactful, right? So, like, maybe if you don't have Neymar pressing him, create some sort of plan to to nullify him better. I think, like, that's a fair argument. Like, you can say, like, maybe you should have done more to nullify Thiago because he was dictating the game. But on the flip
Okay,
side,
but he was dictating the game, but the score was 1-0, and the assist came from Joshua Kimmich. If Neymar scores his chance, Mbappe scores his chance, PSG get two goals. So all Thiago does is null and void.
yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly it, and that's down to, like, Tuchel's, like, good work and the work of PSG's defense, because they set up the attackers to, like, score. PSG didn't need to. In fact, like, that's actually completely justified that he played that front three of Neymar, Mbappe, and Di Maria, and I'll tell you why. You know, in the Champions League, you have to go with your best 11, and if you see by performance, PSG's best game in the knockout stages was the 3-0 against Leipzig, and he started that exact front three in that game. So you have to go with your best front three, like, based on like you know, like, how your 11s have performed. PSG's 11s changed a lot that season. So, like, he just went with the one that, like, showed the best results on the pitch. You know, and he did bring in a striker. He brought in Choupo-Moting at the end, and Moting also missed a chance. You know, like, so
No. It's not. It's about how you start. How you start. It is very important to start strong. Yeah, he eventually changed up and brought up a striker, but my argument was you have to start with a striker. That was my whole thing.
But yeah, but, like, in my opinion, like, I think he did the right thing with the starting 11, and they had enough chances, because the thing is, when you're playing against a deep block, tactically it makes even more sense to play a striker there, because you need a target man to occupy the defenders and create space, right? But when you're playing a counter-attacking style and your opposition is holding a very high line, you don't necessarily need to play a striker there, as long as you have fast players up top who can get to those balls over the top. And you're seeing it because Bundesliga teams this season have adopted a lot of the tactics Tuchel used against Bayern in that final, and that's why Bayern are conceding a lot more goals even in Bundesliga play. I don't think Flick changed a lot and became more conservative. I don't think that's why Bayern didn't obliterate PSG the way they did previous teams. Certain players were more conservative. For example, and this is also props to Flick, because the thing is, like, what Flick did was, you know, like, he had to have Davies be a little bit more conservative, you know, whereas Bayern's whole system was still very ultra attacking. Certain players like Davies would be more conservative to stay on their marker. In the case of Davies, it was Di Maria. And then playing Coleman was a very good decision, honestly, because Coleman is better at working the flank as, like, as an out-and-out winger, better than Perisic, right? Like, so he really worked and punished Tyler Carrera on that. But yeah, dude, like, I think, you know, like, Bayern, you could say, is the better overall package, you know, but PSG, based on the chances in that game, like, should have won. And honestly, I have a completely nuanced take on the Mbappe missed chance. If you watch that chance on freeze frame, Neymar was actually pretty open on the far post, or the near post, whichever way you look at it. And he could have had a tap in if Mbappe just laid it off for him.
No,
but Mbappe didn't look and see.
Football doesn't work like that. Anybody who's played football will know that you hit that first time. Football happens so quickly. For Mbappe to realize that, oh, a cutback, I'm inside the 18-yard box and I'm now going to lay it off. No. The quickness of football is, it's a final. That chance comes to you in a cutback and you're inside the 18-yard box. You strike that bloody ball. You don't pass it. You strike it. It's just that he just didn't get a good clean strike. Trying to be like, see, football doesn't happen in slow motion. So whenever you like in slow motion, like, oh my gosh, you could have. No. Football happens in normal motion. And in normal motion, especially in a final against a high opponent, the moment you get a sniff, you've got to hit it. Well, Mbappe did not have time to look up and pass the ball to Neymar. No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to comment on the Pochettino thing you said about Kane. You need to have the same energy with PSG this time. Icardi was out a long time with Tuchel, mainly because Tuchel didn't want to play him. I don't know exactly what happened behind the scenes, but he didn't play for a while. Cavani didn't extend his contract. He didn't want to play for us in the Champions League. So basically, we just had Choupo-Moting on the bench, and Di Maria just had a man of the match performance against Leipzig, and I think he scored one and maybe assisted two. I think it was one or two. So we can't really say that Di Maria should have been benched if you think that Lucas Moura should have been benched, and that we didn't have a striker that Tuchel wanted really to use.
So what's he saying that I should say then in terms? So what's the point you're making?
That you said that because Lucas Moura had such a good performance in the semi-final, you need to have the same energy with Di Maria. You can't really bench him when he assisted one and scored one. And Icardi was out also for a long time. He didn't play for a long time.
Okay, this is my compromise. You're right. Halftime change it. He made the change maybe like 65th, 75th minute. I think cool. Okay, cool. You're right in that sense. When you see that 45 minutes, you realize that I need to bring my best player out. He's getting non-nullified. He's getting socked in. Because I get that Neymar has a free roll and everything, but by putting a striker in there and now giving him that wide thing, he has all that space to himself. Because without front three, you're bumping heads with either Di Maria or you're bumping heads with Mbappe. If you put in a striker there, you're not bumping heads with anyone. That is now all your space to go either wide or cut in. So for me, I think that he should have made the change straight after halftime and give it 45 minutes to roll through.
Yeah, I get you.
Let's talk about Barcelona. So I think revenge is on the mind, man. I don't care when anyone says that. I think certain people have revenge. Revenge. That should be the theme of what this whole thing is because of the miracle at Camp Nou. Now, I have a warning to you PSG fans out there. This is my warning. Don't underestimate Barcelona. I know you will. It's standard. I know you will. Because let's not mince words. I believe this is going to be the first time in over 10 years that Barcelona are coming into a Champions League knockouts game as underdogs. First time they're coming into a Champions League knockout game as genuine underdogs. But PSG don't play into that. Because I think in underdog Barcelona could be very dangerous. And let's also keep it even realer. People expect PSG to win. So PSG have the pressure. Forget, it's Messi's Barcelona. No, let's look at the lay of the land. Barcelona are not the same they were before. They're struggling to beat Granada. So, if Barcelona lose, end of an era, end of the whole thing. But it is what it was, because I think they know, specifically after 8-2, Roma and Liverpool, okay, this should be the final footnote for Messi's career at Barcelona. That was a great run, an amazing run that ended with you now got knocked out in the last 16 against a much stronger team that now represents the future in PSG. If PSG get knocked out, that's a disaster. I don't want to hear anything about, it's Messi. I don't hear anything about it's Barcelona. Forget about legacy and prestige or what the badge means. I am 2021. In 2021, if both teams are fit, both teams at full strength, PSG are far better. So they have no business at full strength losing to whatever Barcelona bring to the night. So there's a massive amount of pressure on PSG, and guys, I'm going to go even one step further. If Neymar is on that pitch and Barcelona beats PSG and Messi balls out, Neymar's legacy will take a serious dent. It will take an almighty serious dent to his legacy. So PSG Inter, man, how are you feeling about this Barcelona game?
For this Barcelona game, I'm very comfortable because...
Whoa. Okay, hold on.
No.
Relax. Very comfortable, excuse me?
Yes, because I try not to think about the if. You're talking about the if PSG loses, it's one of the biggest disgrace in football history, and I agree. It will be a big catastrophical event, but I don't want to think about the if. I want to be confident in my team because with the players we had, like you said, we have a much better team, a much better manager than Barcelona. So I don't want to see the if we lose. I want to see the PSG that shows the world that we come for the Champions League. We're a serious big club trying to.
Okay, but quickly, because do you honestly believe, objectively, that Pochettino is a much better manager than Koeman?
Yeah, what I've seen from when I've watched Barcelona and with my Barcelona friends, Koeman, he's not a good manager. Maybe even Lampard maybe is better in some ways than him.
Relax. PSG ain't relax. Don't go there. Don't you dare go there, please. Relax. The heck. Okay. So you're feeling okay. Let me roll with this. How important is next week? How important is that first leg at Camp Nou? Or you feel that whatever happens, Paris, you'll do the job? Or do you think that the first leg is important?
The first leg is important because if if Barcelona don't get at least a positive thing from the Camp Nou game, the easier game for them, then in Paris, I believe that if we get a good result, maybe a 1-1 or a 2-1 in Camp Nou, we will squash Barcelona in Parc des Princes with maybe a complete dominant 3-0 performance or something. Because mentally, this PSG team is much stronger than the Barcelona team.
All right. What's it called? Ahmad, man. Talk to me, man. How you feeling towards the Barca game, bro?
I'm not gonna lie. I have been confident a long time, and you heard me say crazy things, but I am very confident for this game and in PSG's team. But I'm still nervous. But I ain't nervous in the sense of wow, Barcelona is such a good team. I'm nervous in the sense of we have history with this club, and the way we are much better than them right now. They're heavily underdogs. If we lose this game, it's maybe worse than 6-1. I'm telling you, it's maybe worse than 6-1.
Wait.
So
Okay. Wait. In what sense would it be worse than the miracle at Camp Nou?
because the miracle on Camp Nou, I know it was a disgrace, but look at our team then and the team we have now, and the team Barca had then and the team we have now. We can't forget MSN played when they scored 6-1. So for me, and the ambitions we have now, we reached the Champions League final last year. For me, this would be far worse. But just the fact that if we lose, like I won't come to the hangout in a month. I promise you, in a month if we lose against Barcelona. But I'm still very confident that we will win against them because I don't see. Look, they have good players, and the problem with Barcelona is that they're very inconsistent. Players like Griezmann, De Us, Messi, Pedri, all good, very good players. Messi is Messi. De Jong has been playing pretty good, but the thing is, I look at that back line. Garbage backline. Alba, one of the worst defensive fullbacks this season. Araujo being injured now, so they have to play Umtiti. Lenglet, who has been a disgrace this season, and I think Roberto's out and Dest is out, so they're playing the guy who looks like Jesus. What's his name? Menguez?
Oh, that good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, White Jesus.
yeah. So that's their back line. So we really need to target that, and I hope that Pochettino has set and trained with the squad for prepared for that game because this is a massive game for us, man. And an important thing you said, if we have our squads fit, is a big if. The biggest concerns right now is Verratti and Di Maria. Di Maria will probably be out for the game. Verratti will probably be out for the league games, but sources says that he will be back for the Barcelona game. So if we have our squad fit, I don't see any other way that PSG will win this game, man.
Vaz, how do you see this whole Barca PSG thing, man?
Okay, so right now, I'm going to give you like I actually know these teams really well, dude. So I'm gonna give you like the thing is that there's many ways in which this game can go. And I'm
So,
not
so,
even
so,
gonna,
so I mean, but just give us like a
uh,
more kind of general thing rather than going into like
yeah,
specifics
exactly,
because I think we're going to go into
Yep,
more specific details in the weekend. But just
yep,
based on where these teams are,
yep.
what Barcelona look like right now, what
Mhm.
PSG look like right now, just general macro overview.
Yeah.
Should Ahmad and PSG Ints be this confident, or do you think that they should maybe be a little bit wary and maybe an underdog Barcelona could spring a surprise?
They should be. I think Ahmed was like spot on, dude. Like in how he's feeling, dude. And I think like he's right to think that way if he thinks about the game that way. Like he's confident because PSG are the favorites and overall they're the better team. But there's also that sense of nervousness, and that's exactly spot on from a PSG perspective, from the team's perspective, the fans' perspective, everything. Because I'll tell you exactly like what's gonna happen in this game. It's not gonna be that tactical. It's not gonna be that tactical. And I'll tell you like why, like this game could go in many different directions. And like I'm not gonna give you like the details, but I'll tell you this much, right? And you'll understand why. Neymar and Mbappe have like the most crucial, and especially Mbappe, I think, with because he's missed a lot of chances over this past year, like chances he should have been putting away. So you should be worried for your agenda because it's really on the line, and he's kind of the key to everything. Like what he does, good or bad, can determine like the outcome of this tie. And I'll tell you why. The mentality problem between PSG and Barcelona is different. With PSG, like I know, like and like what was said previously was correct. PSG are in a stronger position mentally compared to Barcelona because they made the final, right? Because they corrected a lot of the mistakes they made in previous seasons. But the thing is that like I've seen the way these teams like kind of bottled, for lack of a better term, in past years is different. With PSG, I think it was individual mistakes and nerves. Like they're nervous, they're not confident in themselves. Like in those moments, like for example against United at home, to see the tie through. They make individual mistakes, even when they're the better team, and they let the other team in, and it's a bottle job. With Barca, it's kind of different, and I think it's more shell shock. And what I mean by that is, if you look at the last two Champions League, games where they've been knocked out at Anfield and at Bayern, Barcelona tend to open the floodgates, like of their own defense when they concede the second goal. They are okay after conceding the first. At Anfield, like Liverpool scored very early, but they didn't score at all for the remainder of the first half, and they scored the rest of the three in the second half, right? After they scored the second goal, then they scored the next two like relatively quickly. Against Bayern, Barca actually played pretty well in the opening 15 minutes and put a lot of pressure and created quite a few chances against Bayern in those opening 20 minutes. Even after going a goal down, they managed to get back into the game. Messi hit the bar and all that. But after Bayern scored the second goal, then they Barca didn't know how to respond to that. So after they concede a second goal in a game, I think that's when this team collectively flashes back to that Roma, and it's just a case of shell shock where they can't react. Flashback to corner taken quickly. What happened there? The team couldn't react. They all stood still. Nobody was marking Origi. Like they just don't know how to respond or like come together and like fight back after conceding that second goal. And the way this game is going to start out, Barca won't play a crazy high line, but I'll tell you, they'll attack being the home team
So no,
and having little to lose, right?
So who do you think are you edging with as of right now? Because many things change, but as of right now, do you think PSG are the team to edge it, or do you think Barcelona could spring a surprise? When you just look at the overlook of everything as of right now, because it could change. But let's just say with the players there right now, because again, if Neymar goes down, it changes. If Messi goes down, forfeit rule. So everyone fits. Is this still overall PSG's or Barcelona's?
Overall, dude, it's PSG's very narrowly, and I'll say that because they got the second leg at Parc des Princes, and even though they got knocked out by Barcelona in previous ties, right, in each of those times they got knocked out by Barca in the knockout stage in the Champions League, the second leg was always at Camp Nou. This is the first time in a very long time they've had the second leg at Parc des Princes, and that's a pretty big advantage. So because of that, I'll just give PSG the edge. But this particular game in the first leg can go either way because it's entirely dependent on who scores when, how they convert their chances. That's all I gotta say. Yeah.
Okay. So remember, guys, hit that like button, subscribe. Hit that like button, subscribe. Remember, if you want to follow your boy Half Hope. Reach me here on Twitter at Half Hope Hotman. Like, subscribe. So, as we always do on these club shows, we do a nice little throwback. So this is always a throwback of a player who used to play for this club back in the day, and we just sort of just share our thoughts about this said player. So I'm gonna pull up the player. We're gonna view him, and then you guys are gonna give your thoughts on said player. So let's bring this up. My computer's going slow, but it's going fine. All right. So here he is, man. This is a personal one for me right now. And sorry, I even of course bring in the other guys in here as well. Sorry, there you go. There we go, better. So there he is. A legendary player. And guys, can I just say one thing, and then I want to give it. I'll go first to PSG into this. I don't care what anyone says, because Ronaldinho has actually confirmed this. Ronaldinho said that he learnt a lot of his skills and everything from Okocha. So, in effect, no JJ Okocha, no Ronaldinho. I get that he's a Brazilian and everything, but Ronaldinho was the Padawan to JJ Okocha's master. And my thing, guys, is YouTube is a beautiful thing. Because a lot of guys have seen what Okocha did while he was at Bolton, which was crazy. Look at some of the stuff that this guy was doing while at PSG. Because I think he moved from Frankfurt. So he was in Frankfurt previously, then he moved from Frankfurt to obviously PSG. So because remember, back PSG was still like it was like a pretty big club. This is when the French league was still quite a major league, you know. So moving to PSG was a big deal back. I think this was like in the late 90s. But when you just look at some of the stuff that Okocha did for PSG, it was insane. This is my wish. I almost wish that peak JJ Okocha was in this team, cause this PSG with Mbappe, Okocha, and Neymar would be insane. Would be insane. I keep telling these people that one of the most naturally gifted football players of all time is this dude, JJ Okocha. I mean, what this guy could do with his feet was absolutely freaking insane. PSG ends. Your thoughts on JJ Okocha, man?
Well, I never got to see him with me being young and stuff, but yeah, incredible what you could do with the ball, and it just showed that this is why a Manchester City PSG comparison can't be made, because even when PSG weren't winning trophies and stuff, we still could bring in players like Ronaldinho and Okocha, while City had like a 40-year-old George Weah and stuff.
Relax.
So, and yeah, Okocha was a big player for because PSG in the 90s, they were trying to become a big club like they tried in 2011, but it didn't go well. They lost the money and got much worse. So if Okocha stayed more and Ronaldinho at PSG, maybe PSG would have become big in the 90s instead of 2011, and if Okocha succeeded, maybe a bit better and more better players around him, PSG would be seen as a different club right now.
No, I think that's it, because remember, PSG back then, yeah, they have some players, but they didn't have players. I remember this was the time when the Serie was the biggest team, was the biggest league in the world. And really, you know, the kinds of players that Juventus had, AC Milan had, Inter had were crazy. And again, that's when United were really now coming into their fold. And I just think that's, remember, all they had was like a baby Ronaldinho who really hadn't fully matured yet, which was even before 02. So Dino was very, very young. So yeah, like my thing is that if, let's say, you put Okocha in this team now, oh my gosh, it would be freaking insane. But I just think he was just a supremely talented player, but didn't really have the pieces around him.
Yeah.
Ahmad, what about you, man? Okocha?
Yeah, I completely agree with PSG Int. Same as the PSG Int. I wasn't even born when he played, so I didn't get to see him play live. But I've seen him play. I've seen the compilation and stuff like that, and the guy was skillful, man. Like he's very similar to Ronaldinho in the sense that
He
he
taught
has
Ronaldinho everything he knew. He taught Ronaldinho. He taught him
yeah,
everything
and
he knows.
he had his pre-peak, if you can say that word. He had his pre-peak at PSG before going to, I think he went to Bolton
Bolton, yeah, Bolton, yeah.
after PSG, and he has his peak there. Same with Ronaldinho, go to Barcelona, having his peak there. And I agree with him saying that this is the difference between City and PSG in the sense of we were a club who still got these talents. And don't forget George Weah, he played a big part in PSG
Yeah,
as well, winning
yeah.
the league with us after a while. So one of the skillful players I've seen YouTube wise, because I haven't seen him live,
Oh
but
no. That's trust me. That's enough, man. That's enough because again,
yeah,
you just watch those compilations. You now see how he did some stuff that nobody has even tried or attempted to do on a football pitch.
yeah, and in a sense we can say that these players has also been the foundation for PSG as well, because without them, without winning the league in '94, we maybe wouldn't even been bought. But the Qataris seeing some potential in this club, seeing potential that we have a big fan base in France. So I would describe it as a foundation for PSG.
Okay. Well, guys, all I can say is good luck. You know, there's still a league on to be won. And but this is what I always say for PSG. I think PSG's existence, I think, is important. You know, anybody that says, "Oh my gosh, they spend so much money. Where did the money come from?" Oh, screw you, f you. Is as football fans, we want to see the best against the best, and we want to see guys really. Actually, you know what? I think since it's fair, since the guys are here, so any questions from the live chat? Let's just do maybe 5 minutes of questions. And I'm sorry since you wanted to ask. So if you anybody in the live chats has any questions, send those questions in. We'll do about 5 minutes of questions. So guys, we'll take maybe 2 or 3 questions before we get out of here. So in the live chat, send in questions, and then I'll then pick out the best ones. But as I say, look, man, I think it's always about the Champions League, and I think every single season when I look at pitch and just look at how because I always lose sight of, my gosh, man, this is such a talented team. Or just look at player versus player, individual versus individual, and what these guys can do. I always give
Hey, just oh, sorry, go on, go.
yeah, it's that you always have to just take a step back and be like, damn, this is actually amazing who they have, and why can't they really go ahead and really win this thing, because they are more than talented to win the whole thing. So where will PSG finish in the Champions League this year? PSG ends.
For me, the hardest stumbling block in the Champions League for PSG this season will be the Barca game. If we do the job in this Barca game mentally against Messi, I don't see a team really being that hard. I see it being open after that game for PSG, and maybe the second best team, second biggest team with the chances to win the Champions League. So if we do the job against Barca, as we should, if we go through with a big score line, the trophy is in front of us.
Jeez, wow. Ahmad, do you concur? If you beat Barca, do you think that the trophy is right there, or do you still think that there's still greater challenges that lie ahead?
No, it would be a bigger challenger in the sense of there are better teams out there. But confidence-wise, I think it's a huge game for us. Just beating Barcelona, getting the history past us, ultimately finish the club who is already finished, but finish it more than it already is. And then a big stumbling block has always been quarterfinals. We have had a big problem with quarterfinals after the Qatari takeover. So that's a but if I compare us to other teams, I think we are top three of having the biggest chances of winning the Champions League, and I'm very confident in this squad. And if we can keep the players fit, I'm even more confident.
I obviously to you guys first to PSG ends. Do you rate Cavani? See, I always thought Cavani got a raw deal. useful striker, messed up. One of your ones for I always thought he's a useful striker. And I think if you look at Cavani, um, Ibrahimovic, you can even put him in there. You can put Icardi and thing. I think Cavani wins us. So, PSG, into your thoughts on Cavani?
Cavani, what can I say? In the first 2 years or 3 years when he played, he was playing alongside Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and you don't get to play as a striker when Ibra is on the pitch. So Cavani played as a left winger, and I didn't like him because he isn't that good from that position. But then when Zlatan left, he started getting good, 50 goals a season. But the problem always with Cavani is pressure gets to his head too easy. He misses some big chances, and
Always.
and I see United fans complaining, and we PSG fans, when you got him, you hyped him up. We told you guys, Cavani, he isn't that good as you guys expect. He will be missing some big chances every game consistently. But Cavani, he's definitely a PSG legend, the top scorer of our history. And yeah, I love him, the passion he had for the club, for the fans. Nothing bad to say about him. He did his best.
Ahmad?
When you mean rate, do you mean right now or overall?
I think I would want to say based on what he did, because I think the way he's phrased the question, I think that's as a PSG fan for what he did at PSG, how much do you rate his tenure at PSG?
Yeah, obviously it's massive for us because he's the top goal scorer, and as PSG said, most of the time in PSG he played as a left winger, so it was a difficult position for him.
But he had great chances in many Champions
No,
League
no,
knockout things that he
yeah, I
didn't put
agree with you.
away.
I agree with you. Like the thing with Cavani is like I told you not as PSG said, I told United fans he's in a great finisher. But what he is, his movement is one of the best I've seen in the last 6 years. The movement he has in the box, the way he creates chances out of nowhere. But the crazy thing with him is he miss easy chances. You know those chances where you think, oh, it's impossible. From that angle, you can't score. He actually scores.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
for me, he's a very weird player. I love Cavani, but the thing if I rate him now, he isn't as good. He isn't even close to the peak Cavani at PSG. Last season, he was really, really bad for us. He has lost his pace, his touch, the finishing, and the stamina. So if I rate him right now, I think he's a very good player, but I wouldn't call him world class or the player United really need right now.
And maybe just for the final one, because I think I saw people sort of mention it in the live chat. So for PSG, Di Maria, do you still think Di Maria is still a very crucial member for PSG? On how important would you say Di Maria is to PSG?
Yeah, Di Maria is really important, but because Di Maria, even now in this season when he hasn't been at the best, he still has 9 assists in the league. He still contributes in the Champions League and the league, but he has dropped. Yes, he has dropped, and I don't expect him to put up the numbers he did in the last years. So, but the biggest thing is to think about a replacement for Di Maria. Maybe this will be his last year, and just play him in the big games instead of consistently playing in League One. But are you talking about Di Maria overall or just this season or in the future?
I wanted to say Di Maria as of right. So Di Maria as of right now, how important do you think he is for the team? Do you still think he's still crucial in the attack?
I wouldn't say crucial because PSG with Icardi, Mbappe, Neymar, I would say is better than with Mbappe, Neymar, Di Maria. So I wouldn't call Di Maria a crucial PSG player anymore.
And what about Ahmad? What about you? How important do you think Di Maria is to PSG now?
Yeah, like every player does. When you age, you lose the pace, you lose the athleticism. But what I would say is that you can't forget about that left foot, the amazing left foot he has, the amazing passes he can create, and I would say, maybe the biggest big game player in PSG throughout the 3 years. The goals he scored against, no, the assists he got against United, Real Madrid, Barcelona when we won 4-0. They are crucial assists and goals. So I rate him very highly. I agree that maybe we should play him a bit less right now because he don't have the pace like before. He can't run in behind and those type
So
of things.
okay, so
So
if
maybe
you
we
don't
will play
play,
him as a center mid or a cam.
okay.
But as PSG said, I see more space for other players like Icardi or Paredes in the team than Di Maria. But I think he's a good squad player to have. But the biggest thing is he has a 6-month contract right now. He has 6 months left. So if we don't renew his contract, we need to buy a replacement because a player like Di Maria, if you don't have him, it's the same with Thiago Silva. If you lose Thiago Silva, if you lose Di Maria, you need to replace him with a player. And funny enough, my ideal replacement would have been Ziyech because I think they're like identical players.
Keep your paws off my boy. Keep your paws off my boy.
He isn't doing pretty good right now, but
Yeah,
still.
no. Lampard, I blame Lampard.
But Hedge, can I ask you a question?
Oh God, what?
No, it isn't a clown question. Like, if this Super League creates, if this Super League with all the big teams creates, do you think people will view PSG differently?
Yes, they would, and I think they would because now if so, it depends on what is the format of the Super League. If it is the Super League, but your domestic league still happens, it will be the same. If it's in sense of you leave your domestic league and all you are is in this Super League, then PSG will be viewed differently. People have a view of the Super League because of how much better PSG are than everyone else in the French league, and because the French league has gone way down in estimation as to how it was back in the 90s when, freaking nonce used to people even talk about nonce and so forth. So I think that if PSG were now in this top tier league with Man United, Juventus, Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Juventus, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and they were in there, then we have to treat them as a big club, specifically if they're now playing the best of the best every single week. We have to view them. So the issue is that for us who maybe don't watch the French league every single week, we just see PSG in the Champions League and we see them getting knocked out. We're like, oh no, these guys are trash. Because all we see is the Champions League and we just think that, oh no, it's too easy for them in the French league, similar to Bayern Munich. We only rated Bayern based on what they do in the Champions League because they're far too strong in Germany. Juve, they're far too strong in Italy. So I think the Super League would change the perception of PSG, but it depends on the format of this Super League that they're trying to do. Is this a thing of it runs concurrently with the league and it replaces the Champions League? Or is it the case of where this is a whole entire league where the top guys leave the domestic league and set up their own league? So it's all really depends, man. So guys, look, man, thank you for joining us, Mr. Ahmad and PSG Inc. It's been great having you in here, and I hope all of you guys enjoyed this almost 2.5 hour thing. Remember, if you're here, subscribe, like the video, subscribe, like the video, subscribe. And if you want to follow me, if you have any questions for myself, at Halfpot, and again, if you tweet me, I will also try and help retweet these guys. So you can also follow Ahmad and PSG. And if you want to follow them, just send me a tweet or something, then I can link you to their own Twitter profiles if you want to have a discussion with them. I think we had a few PSG guys here. So guys, that's it for the club specific shows. I'll try maybe fit a few more in, but really next week, Champions League is here, man. So we're all building up. So guys, peace out. Stay true, stay real, and I'll see you guys on the other one, guys. Peace out. Peace.